A true crime cafe, they go to softballs. Cold brew, cold case, chalk lines on the gloss. Seeking the truth, finding the time, files on the counter, grind with the grind. Blue crew backs him, keeps him in line. Sirens in his pocket, eyes on the sign. Got a wall full of faces, string tied tight, every red pen circle, another long night. True crime cafe, where the real ones bleed, busting these cases till the lost get free. Gotta find answers, gotta make time, everything will be fine if the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. Off in the bullshit, praying low real. Knuckles on the table, fighting for the next meal. True justice far out of view. Smoke in the doorway, what else can he do? Hoping he can answer just a few names in a notebook, voices breaking through. True crime cafe, where the real ones bleed, busting these cases till the lost get free. Gotta find answers, gotta make time, everything will be fine if the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. If the truth aligns.
Standing on the sidelines, lying on repeat. Little campfire, fiction for the front row seat. Day after day, same story, same spin. You dress up the rumor like it's evidence, then grin. You point at a case, say look at that man, but you don't got a screenshot, don't got a plan. You talk about a white car like it's some smoking gun, but every single detail falls apart one by one. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Every word you throw, someone pays. We gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Fog lights blazing, you still mumble in the haze. Goofy gray static, every channel, every day. You shout, I got proof, but your pockets stay bare. Just echo in the alley, just dust in the air. Just another idiot, storytelling every day. You build crooked houses out of things you can't say. You sell loaded rumors like they're holy signs, while family sits shaking on the other side of the line. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Every word you throw, someone pays. We gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. How many names gotta fade off the page while you chase fake ghosts in the secondhand rage? We want hard facts, not your costume show. Turn the cameras to the damage, let the real story glow. Let the real story glow. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Every word you throw, someone pays. We gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray.
True crew. Yeah. Step up, get stepped on. Fizzy, sassy, Cassie, mama bad, run the call. Brandy B, Tandy, swinging hammers through the wall. Tomboys are the last 24 on the grind. SRB, Rach, Molly, Drake on the line. Wisdom speaks while you're looking down. Breakdown, typically unique. Shut a fake clown, face down. Moonlit baby roll, Chrissy Chaos in the chat. Cat K, Bonnie B, Lucy pushing back. Black P, Randy Foley, a story on deck. Moderating all the mess, keep the timeline in check. They do it all the time, make a problem disappear. Say the word once, they appear. Blue crew, true crew, better put respect on the name. They run this scene, they don't play that game. Trolls beware, cause they don't ever care. Running this shit, making everyone aware. Day after day, yeah, they do it their way. Locking it down when the room go crack. Flags in the air, if you slide sideways, better say a quick prayer. Woo! They keep it in line. They keep it in line. From the first loud thing to the late night side. Blue crew, true crew, better put respect on the name. They run this scene, they don't play that game. Trolls beware, cause they don't ever care. Running this shit, making everyone aware. Day after day, yeah, they do it their way. Locking it down when the room go crazy. Crew, true crew, flags in the air. Say thank you loud if you really dare. Crime Cafe, where they go to softball, seeking the truth, finding the time, busting these cases, everything fine. Blue crew backs him, keeps him in line. Gotta find answers, gotta make time, solving the bullshit, praying for real. Big Daddy Meatball fighting for the next meal. True Crime Cafe, can you feel that grind? Digging in the dark for a twisted storyline. True justice hiding far out of view. Hoping every night he can answer just a few. Yeah. Camera on the counter, coffee going cold. Hours every day, chasing what he's told. Keeping it real, never read from a script. Just a man with the mic and a tight grip. Clicking through the files, faces on the wall. Names in the notebook, hearing every call. If the system sleeps, then he won't rest. Puts the weight on his chest, puts it all to the test. Crime Cafe, can you feel that grind? Digging in the dark for a twisted storyline. True justice hiding far out of view. He's hoping every night he can answer just a few. Find answers, gotta make time. If nobody listens, who draws the line?
All right. We are open for business back here at the Cafe. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is Saturday, and it is cold as hell. So I hope you're all staying warm, healthy, happy, and safe. Happy birthday to us. 4 years today, you guys. The True Crime Cafe has been open for 4 whole years. So thank you all for making that happen. It is us. It is us. It is our birthday today here at the Cafe. So welcome, everybody. Please make sure to hit that like button. Please and thank you. And share this out. Let everybody know what we be doing in here, guys. It's an open discussion. Today, again, we're going to be talking about what we talk about. So be ready to do that if it is what you want to do. So thank you all for being here. And you know what happens next, guys. Let's do it.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain.
Neon lights flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with a restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face. At the True Crime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. Mirrors cracked, reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hunt the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the True Crime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn, a requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the break. At the True Crime Cafe, the reckoning burns like a black bouquet. Every shadow will pay. In the True Crime Cafe.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, everybody. Great to see you today. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all staying warm, and I hope you're all having an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is our 4th birthday here at the cafe, guys, and I'm glad you're all here to celebrate with us. That's awesome. 4 years with you amazing and beautiful people. Makes it worth it every single day. It truly does. It's a long time, guys, and you guys are all amazing. Quite a few of you have been here with us this entire time as well. So it is wonderful to be able to say that, guys. That's awesome. That is so very awesome. Hang on here a minute. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Get comfortable, if you will. Again, here for an open discussion today. We're going to break down what we do here in the true crime community and talk about some things in the open discussion. So that's the point to it. Thank you guys so very much. And thank you to, of course, all the people that have been here with us through this entire 4 years. You guys all know you're just beautiful. I love all of you guys. And at the same time, one moment, please. Okay. All the new people, though, truly and honestly, we appreciate each and every one of you guys as well. And that is a fact, folks, an absolute fact. Thank you to all of you from the depths of my heart and soul and the community. The Blue Crew loves you. And again, I got to thank my executive producer, the last 24, Mike, my amazing and lovely videographer, Miss Molly, Mama Bear, my beautiful co-host, and all of my amazing moderators who I would not exist without. All of you have all taken part in making this be what it is. And I'll never be able to repay any of you for everything you guys have done. So, again, thank you. And thank you for all of you guys that have been here. And like I said, even the people that have just started following us recently, thank you for your loyalty to the channel and for the support you guys give. Truly. And who do we have joining us today? Speaking of altruistic murder, welcome back to you. Living Dead Girl, good to see you. Sluther75, I do believe I received your gift. Thank you for that. The last 24, my brother himself, the producer in the house right there. Good to see you. Social Glow, hello. Good to see you. Cat K, welcome back. Jesse Lynn in Stitches, great to see you. CZ, what is going on? Brady B, my OG, been here 5 years and then some. Good to see you, Brandy. Christine Hurd, welcome back to you. Great to see you. Let's see here. Third Apache, welcome to you. Social Glow, Sluther75. Just visiting, welcome. Great to see you. Michelle Weddle, welcome. Sluther75. Rick Allen, great to see you. Lisa Winchester, welcome back to you today. Let's see here. Grateful Dan, love the name. New Jersey, love it. Welcome. Mad Dog 5000, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Pretty much Finland, welcome to you. Sour Girl, welcome back. It is rude outside, I agree with that one. Rebecca Kasidner, I think. Welcome to you. She Devil, welcome back to you. Miss Rach is in the house today. Good to see you, Rach. Beach Babe, welcome back. Carolyn Lewis, welcome. Satire 777, good to see you today. Butterfly Wings, welcome back. Sarah D. Irish in the house. Guys, make sure you're checking out Sarah over on X. Miss Sarah has made sure to very thoroughly organize the Idaho 4 case over on her page on X, guys. If you want to know something, go check it out. She has it, I'm telling you. She's done a great and amazing job. So please make sure you guys follow her over there. Pumpkinfield, great to see you as well. Crazy 20-minute internet is going to make you unsubscribe. Well, do what you need to do then, because I'm sorry. But a lot of people like that song, and I always try to give people time to come in here, and I've always done that from the beginning. And then I always make sure I say hello to everybody in here. So my apologies if you don't like it. I understand completely. No worries. There are plenty other channels that don't have an intro like that I'm sure that you'll fit in with, and I no hard feelings. I truly understand. That's fine. Do you what you got to do. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that, my friend. Tomboy Charms in the house. Good to see you. Anybody else that does not like our intro, my apologies, but a lot of people love our intro, so that's why I still run it. Molly did an amazing song for it. What's up, Tiggy? Good to see you. And I'm never, ever not going to say hello to everyone. That's the most important part of my channel. So no worries. And again, I'm not really apologizing because I can't, because I love it. And I love that you guys love it, for those of you that do. So not everybody's going to fit into that group, I guess. It is what it is. Karen Folquez, welcome to you. And I've always given everybody, try to give everybody 15 minutes, to be able to come in here, get comfortable, and get everybody in here before I get kicked off with anything. So that's why. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate that very much. Lala, good to see you. And that's what I've said. If you guys don't like the intro, you know that it's there. Wait 15 minutes and then pop in. All right, guys, come on in. I did receive something. False star. What's going on? Good to see you. Thank you, Butterfly. I appreciate that very much. That means a lot. It truly does. 1 minute. The song stays. See? Told you guys. Too many. I can do a poll on it. We'll see what everybody thinks. I did get a package today. To whoever sent it to me, I'm going to find out, because I'm going to open it with you. As it's got to be from one of you. And hold on 1 minute, folks. Sorry. All right. Sorry, somebody was at my door and my phone rang, so my apologies. What's up, Hemisphere? Oh my God, Tomboy. Thank you, Sleuther. 91 peeps in the house, guys, and it looks like we have 47 likes. Let's see if we can make that match. And then I'm going to open this one of you guys sent to me. Hopefully it has something in it and explains what it is or who it's from. Nice to get gifts for the channel, and it falls right on our birthday, so that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. even though wrapped in this pretty wrapping type thing. Pretty cool. I didn't even know Amazon did that. This is thanks for everything, Dago. Love your channel from Sluther75. That is awesome. There's the card. Let's see what we got. Thank you, Sluther. Boy, I've never had anything wrapped this nice. Damn. Thank you, Raquel. OL. Good to see you. What did we get? What did we get, guys? I don't get gifts like this anymore. This is crazy. This is a nice bag. Damn. It's cloth, you guys. I thought it was wrapping paper. They even put it in this, too. They do it upright. Oh, yeah, yay. We received our document camera. Yeah, I'm keeping the bag for sure. My wife would love that one. Thank you so much, Luther. That's awesome. Very awesome. You are amazing. Thank you, and God bless. We got our document camera, you guys. We got our printer. We got our document camera. Dago's going to start doing things the Atlanta way. Yes, yes, yes. Hell yeah, guys. Hell yeah. It's cold. Damn. It is cold outside today. There he is. Lana named hers Hector. I think I'm going to call mine Jose because it's close to my name. There it is. Say hello to Jose, everybody. This is our new document camera. That way you guys will be reviewing the documents in hand, live in person from my desk. Very awesome. Very awesome, Sluther. Thank you and God bless. You're very sweet of you. Very awesome. Very, very awesome. Yes, welcome to the sauce, Jose. I love it. I love it, love it. That is badass. That was amazing. Thank you so much for that. Making my day and making our 4th birthday. Very awesome, Sluther. That fits right in line. That's perfect. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you, Heidi. Thanks for joining us. Yes, welcome, Jose. Say hello and welcome to Jose. This thing's pretty cool. It needs to warm up, though, because it's like cold to the touch, guys. It's freezing out. It's got the 3-button touch here. USB, of course, and there's another cord in there. And this actually, it's set on the side of the box. I could actually, which I don't need to, of course, but there's a button here to change the light. But it can be used as a camera, too, like a video cam, which I don't need one, but very cool. Very cool. Once I get everything moved around, I have a new spot for that. So thank you once again, Sluther. Yeah, it fell like right in line. It's actually perfect. Very, very perfect. Jose's kind of fancy, yeah. I think Atlanta's is. I wasn't going for no, bells and whistles, crazy stuff like that, but just something that works. That's all. You need a Jose too? Yeah. Hey, Hemi, what's up, buddy? Buffalo Chick, welcome to you. And thank you again, everybody. You can thank Sluther75 on our 4th birthday for providing us with the Jose, the doc cam, guys. So we can go over these documents as I print them out, which is going to take me probably 3 years when I finally get the printer completely set up. Social Glow, what's happening? Good to see you. Thank you so much for that. Firebox, welcome. Newman's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yes, I am too. I truly am too. It's going to take probably, Jesus, it's so cold, you guys. It's literally like touching ice. But it's awesome. That is so awesome. I love it. Very much so. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very kind of you. Susan Steele, welcome. Hola, Jose. Yes. Yes, we will call him Jose. Welcome. 104 peeps in the house, guys. With 61 likes, we're running an open discussion today. I'm feeling better, Heidi. Thank you for asking. I truly am feeling better. My head's not as full. You know what I mean? I can breathe a little bit. Definitely can breathe better. I'm still hacking crap here and there, but that kind of stuff. So, but I'm getting better, and I really do appreciate you guys so very much for asking me. Very cool. Looks like StreamYard added something else new today. Thank you, Ro. Good to see you, Miss Rose, in the house. Thank you. We will. I mean, we will. I'm loading everything up now. Now, I will say this, okay, before we go anywhere. We don't disrespectfully, purposely talk about creators. There's a couple that I will make comments about me, okay, but I don't want to see anybody attacking other creators in the chat, please. Please, please, please. You can have opinions. I want you to, but don't negatively attack them here in the community, please. That's not fair to them. They're not here to defend themselves, and we just don't do that, guys. That's all I'm saying. I know. Porter Trina, welcome to you. Hard to believe it's been 4 years. Been here since Dylan. Wow. Welcome. Skilla, good to see you. I appreciate you guys. There's a lot of you guys that have been here for a long time. Oh, Brandy's becoming a member again after 5 years. I know, Mike. I know. I saw it. And that's okay. We'll discuss it. We don't have to, call them names or anything, but we can discuss it. Congrats, Brandy. Welcome back to the Sauce, son. We love you. Elisanda, good to see you today. I understand. I understand completely. Yes, we will discuss it. Don't worry. But I don't want to see anybody attacking him or anybody else, guys. That's all I'm saying. Please and thank you. 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 minute here. Come on in, guys. You guys, grab a seat. Get comfortable if you will. Give me 1 second. All right, first and foremost, most important thing of the day to start with is we have to sing happy birthday to the #1 main meatball here. You see that meatball? Happy birthday to all the meatballs and all the True Crime Cafe members and community peeps. Let's do that first. All right. Happy birthday to the meatball himself. The original. It all starts with one, guys. And of course, let me try something here. All right. Little comedic. things here. Let's do this on too real quick here. One minute. All right. Happy birthday to the meatballs and the cafe. 4 years, guys. 4 years. Thank you all for making that happen. You guys are amazing. And I love all of you. Welcome, Offset, Guitar, Duck Cats Meow. Miss Lucy's in the house. Good to see ya. I think I hit everybody. 116 of you beautiful peeps in here. I did not forget your birthday, Brandy. I was not here for it. I don't forget birthday. There's always cakes, Luther. Always. We got a new gift here today. Thank you to Sluther for our birthday. Our Jose, our document cam. Very cool. Super excited for that. Thank you for that, Sluther. And again, open panel today, guys. We're going to discuss what we discuss the way we discuss it. So thank you for that, Karen. I appreciate that. Oh, you're good. Nobody did anything in here, Lucy. I'm just saying I don't want anybody to do anything like that. That's all I'm saying. I know that there people want to discuss some things. Hemi said he wanted to discuss Pavarotti, and I said that's fine. We can discuss it, but we won't be attacking him or anything like that. And it's what I said in the chat. That's all. Nobody did anything, though. You're fine, Lucy. You can put the claws back in, Lucy. Thank you, though. I love you. All right, Hemi, welcome. Good to see you, brother. I love your avatar. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. It fits my name. 1978 Hemispheres.
Yes, sir.
The inspiration behind my name.
Donnie Weasling, welcome. You have a yes. I have the best blue crew, the best set of moderators, the best crew team, all of it on YouTube. I will die on that hill. Anybody that wants to argue, you will lose with me. That's all I'm saying. I am Italian Betty Davis sides because this is more important to me than the Olympics. But thank you for asking. What's going on, Hemi? How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Dago. How you doing?
I'm doing it. I'm here.
I'm not gonna take Pavarotti. Ain't no worry about that.
No, I didn't. I know you want to talk about it though.
Yeah, sometimes he says some things. I go, okay, I can roll with that. Like that video you put out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But what he put out today?
Yeah, he seemed a little angry today. I did notice that.
And I get the frustration because I feel the same way.
I mean,
we've been at this thing for a very long time, and we've seen a lot of stuff. I'm sure you've seen some stuff that pretty much angers you as well. And we all get that way too.
And I'll give you an example real fast since Hemi brought it up real quick, if you guys don't mind. Last night I was on the Devil's Advocates panel with the amazing crew over there doing our thing. And I guess somebody came into the chat with Lee and said, I don't know why you lie to people. Wait, was it Lee? Yeah, it was Lee, I think. And why you keep lying to people, there was so much of Brian Koberger's blood all over that cheese. And I went, what? But they repeated it again and again. You keep lying to people. Why are you lying to people? There's so much of his blood all over that cheese. Anybody that's new to this case, I'll give you a bit of grace, okay? But you cannot come screaming at somebody and making a statement like that has zero gravity, zero balance, zero anything, because it's not true. Brian Koberger's blood has nothing to do with anything with this case. There was no blood from him. It was touch and transferred DNA. So that kind of stuff pisses me off, okay? And I understand there's people that don't have the knowledge. But instead of going at for somebody's throat because you think that you're right and they're wrong, ask somebody. Look into it before you make a statement that way. We're all, at some point in time in our lives, going to be wrong about something, especially with this case. I have been, and I have no qualms with admitting that, okay? Even Pavarotti has been wrong, I'm sure, and he's admitted to that. Has no problem saying when he's wrong. Lana has been wrong. Jules has been wrong. We've all been wrong, guys. We're never ever going to be completely right all the time. It's not possible. Okay, I've probably been wrong more than I've been right. But that's how we learn. That's the whole point in learning about things. And when you have people that can correct you, such as, Tomboy or Lucy or Meg or anybody else that is in here that's part of these communities, like the crew, that's why they do what they do. No, Dago, that's not what it was. It was this. And I appreciate that. But to make a statement to Lee, like I don't know why you've been lying to people all this time about this, that, and everything else. Brian's blood was all over that. What the fuck are you talking about? Don't say stuff like that to people because it's not true. And anybody that doesn't know this, you should. But anybody that doesn't, Brian Koberger's blood was never anywhere on the scene. Okay. It was transfer or touch DNA. It was a skin cell, is what they said was on the strap of the blade or of the sheath. I'm sorry. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it. That's it. Okay. So people don't attack people when you don't know what you're saying. Whoever that was, God bless you. But I don't even know. Okay. And everybody has their own thoughts and theories, opinions, and feelings about this. That's your right, in my opinion. Okay. That's your right to feel however you want to about it. I'm never going to tell you you cannot feel that way. What I will say, though, is it's not good to put out misinformation on purpose and confuse people more than they already have been. And I definitely don't try to ever do that on purpose. I've talked about things. We're going to talk about things no matter what. I want to hear everybody's theories and opinions and feelings on things, but it doesn't mean that it's right. Okay.
You're right. And yesterday, I not DM'd you, but I posted a video in Discord and I asked you if you'd seen it because Pavarotti did make a valid point in his video yesterday.
Right.
Which he overlooked it, and I wanted to make sure that he wasn't the only one that overlooked it because this is a big deal on what he raised up in his video yesterday.
Sure.
You have to watch it the way he explained it. It seemed like I was trying to tell Logan yesterday, but I kept hearing myself and I kept getting sidetracked.
She was having issues with Restream. It's not her fault. I was in there too watching.
Yeah. Anyway, today's video, he says some things that I was like, I had to stop the video. Because I'm like, it wasn't until Jules came out with that video of 1112 of the screams that you have came out with the video to say those screams was partying. That's not true. Because if you was to listen to those screams, you will hear people partying, making partying sounds. And that was covering it all up. Pavarotti has made it very clear he sticks with the timeline. The timeline that we have spoken about, Dago, to this very day, we do not have an accurate timeline. We have what we may think is a timeline, but the timeline that was based on Dylan, who will sit there and tell you, I don't know, don't remember, maybe, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's some things that she may have said that she can say, okay, well, that may happen, that may not.
Right.
But at the end of the day, and I said it yesterday, and I'll stand on my grave today, it's all speculation. We don't know what happened.
Every bit. Yes, you're right. Hey, senor.
But when we hear screams like that, I want to, if you don't know that 4 people died in that house that night, I'd like to know if anybody never knew that, was to listen to that audio and go, something bad happened there.
Sure.
And we have made there's statements that has been made about those walls being like paper thin.
Yeah.
And people running up and down the hallway. You can hear guys talking and have a general conversation. And all that's going on all the time at the house.
Yeah, there's something that went on, and I know what you're saying. Okay, if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm not, but we were told the timeline was between 4:08 or 4:10 to 4:20 a.m. or 4:17. I'll just make it accurate as I can, and that's what we were told. We were supposed to follow that. We all tried. Okay, I'll give us all that. We tried to follow that timeline, and that's what we're supposed to stick with. Now then. Audio was released. Thank you to Jules again for making that happen with the 1112 camera. And we listened to it many, many thousands of times. I've listened to it. You've listened to it. We've all listened to it many different ways. And it in the 2 to 3 a.m. hour, we hear a lot of screaming and yelling and talking and slam banging, all sorts of shit. It's definitely something that has made us go, what the hell's going on? And the eyebrows go up, okay? And a lot of us instantly, I think, not us per se, but a lot of people instantly said that, in my mind, changes the timeline from the 4 to 4:20 to this timeline now, because all that screaming, and then you go listen. And I've even said myself, if you go back and listen to the 4 to 4:45 or 4:50 a.m. timeline, we don't hear shit except a dog. Let me say a dog. So it's made a lot of people's minds go, I gotta wonder if this is what happened, or if this happened at this time. Okay. Now I always say this to you guys. In my opinion, something happened. What is it? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows, because we don't know. We weren't there. That's the only way to truly, honestly know the answer to that question, is if we were there, or we have a video camera watching it, which we don't have. Okay. But everybody, in my opinion, has the right to their own feelings, opinions, and thoughts on this. Okay. I'll never tell you you're wrong, because I don't know if you're wrong. So how can I tell you that? Now, that's my feelings on that and my opinion on that. Okay. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that it's right, folks. And I tell you guys this all the time. I want you guys, and I've always said this, I say in my opinion more than I say my own name. Okay. Because it's in my opinion. When I talk about something, everything we talk about in here, unless it's based out of a document, and even then I question those, but everything we talk about in here, as I try to throw, where to go, this up quite often, everything we talk about is purely alleged and based on speculative theory, to give everybody the foresight to know that's what we do. Okay. I do not have a bird, Sluther. I don't think I can handle a bird, but thank you for asking.
But if this case was investigated in the way that it's supposed to be investigated, this went to trial and everything got out and brought wide open for everybody to see, we wouldn't be having these conversations right now.
That's very true. That is very true.
But we didn't get that. What we got was a plea deal, and it was kind of like what I was saying yesterday. And I had to look this up just to make sure that I'm just not talking out my ass when I say it.
What's up, Witchy?
A plea deal and the confession are two different things.
Oh, 100%, yes.
When I heard there was a plea deal, I go, oh, okay. So he's going to confess? Cool.
That's not what happened.
I'm listening to the judge. Judge is asking a bunch of questions. He said, are you sure you're going to do this? Yes. Are you doing this on your own free will? Yes. Nobody encouraged you or anything or talked you into it? No. Are you saying that you are changing your plea because you did this? And he said, yes. Next question I was hoping that Hippler was going to ask was, okay, so let us know how. How did you do it? And who was involved? We didn't do that. The prosecutor even said we did not want to allow him to talk. Why? Because if he would have talked, it would have opened up a big can of worms that they knew they couldn't hide no more. It was all going to come out. They had to keep his mouth shut. And they never, ever talked to him at all. Period. That right there should tell you something. That's a red flag. For anybody to get arrested for a quadruple homicide and they never interviewed you, yeah, that should throw a big, huge red flag. That did not happen.
Right.
So
Right.
that's that.
Welcome,
He also mentioned something else. He mentioned Maddie's phone.
And I was going to make a point on that. He actually kind of made a good point with that phone, guys. I had to look at that and go,
Yeah.
That's a very interesting point that he pointed out there, because for those of you who didn't see it, I put Bob's link in here. You should go check it out. I know not everybody is a fan of his, but I do respect Pavarotti because he puts a lot of hard work into what he does. He does truly look into things. He doesn't just throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks. So the point that he made with Maddie's phone is really kind of a good point. And it makes you focus on certain things that probably should be focused on, you guys. The fact that there's blood spatter on her phone that is untouched has to tell you something about timing. Okay? It's a very good point. And I told you guys this before with Pop, the way it works with me, I respect him highly. I always have, okay? I don't always agree with him, but I do respect him and the work that he puts in. And I think he's like anybody else, guys. He can only take so much of something and then he blows his top, just like I have been. But I think all in all, because I think Pop is a good person, okay? And I think he's doing this for the right reason. He wants truth, period. And that's what it's about. It should be. It shouldn't be about making sure you get high numbers, and it shouldn't be about clicks and this and all that shit. That's true. It does help our channels when we get good numbers, but that's not the basis of why most of us do this. I want to know what the fuck happened in his case. I want to know why they have who I believe is somebody that's innocent sitting in prison for this at this point, because of the other information we've been handed. And like Hemi said a little bit ago, they don't want us to speculate, but they won't tell us any truth. What are we supposed to do with that? Anybody? Like, how are you supposed to handle something like that? You're supposed to sit with your hands folded like a good little boy and girl, be quiet, and listen to what they tell us and just accept it. I can't do that. Hemi can't do that. Bob can't do that. Jules can't do it. Lana can't do it. Lee can't do it. Any channel that I know other than the Gilter channels, they will not do it because it doesn't make sense. So, going to what you were saying about Pav with the Maddie's phone, I really had to go,
Well, but it was fueling. What was fueling that? It was this new creator that just came out, not even about a couple of weeks ago. I was breaking down the film in the audio. Well, if you watch his video, he says it himself. There you go. He said, I was really looking forward to the trial because I want to see if they had any experts for this audio. And that he said he is an expert of audio and that this program that he used is something that he made. Okay. Right. So it's just something that I took it, in my humble opinion, it was something that he just didn't grab out of the stars one day and said, well, I'm going to get this to try to see how this works and then sell it.
Right.
You know,
and let me say this. I know what you're talking about. He's talking about the newer channel with the audio. Okay.
Well, he kept on saying Maddie. The guy in the video was referring to Maddie. This is whenever Maddie was attacked. And that's what Pavarotti had a problem with.
And I'll be honest with you guys. I do too. Okay. But I'm not. Pavarotti does things differently than I do or anybody else. We all do our things different. Okay. And I'm not attacking Pop when I say this. What I'm saying is I agree with him. I have no idea who is being attacked in that audio. I've never claimed to. you can't, and I have to agree with Pop when you say something like, I know for a fact that's Maddie being attacked. I want to know how. How does anybody know that?
That right there, I agree with. I do. I agree with because
Now,
we don't know, right?
Right. And what should have been said, in my opinion, of course, and I'm not attacking that creator either. Okay. By no means am I doing that. You know, anybody that takes the time, the effort, and the want with all to do what they're doing, I respect you. But you gotta verbiage is very important in this community. The way you state things to the world is very important. I've learned that sometimes the hard way, so on and so forth. But you can't just blatantly say, I know for a fact that that's Maddie being attacked, because you weren't, unless you were standing there watching it. We don't know that. And we can listen to their voices and say, you know what, I think that might be Maddie being attacked. That's the way I would approach it, okay? Because that's what I would think. I don't know it for a fact. I think maybe. That's my opinion. That's how I would say that.
So when you got phone calls from Kaylee's phone and Maddie's phone that's calling Jack Decor, we have talked about that. Devil's advocates have talked about that as well and made a statement about it. That's not a true proof of life. In other words, somebody can always take that phone and do it.
Right.
That's the reason why the one of the many things that came out right when that was all going on is, well, they was trying to lure Jack Decor in the house to get his vape.
Right.
To get the vape. And we're all thinking, well, there was a scenario where they was trying to get Jack D to do him too. But we don't know that. What about the 17-minute FaceTime that Jack D had with Kaylee or Maddie or whoever it was? There's some phone calls. There's like a video that Dylan told Mooch that she made a video of Kaylee and Maddie, but do we have that video? See, there's the things that law enforcement something that they should have done throughout their investigation. Oh, okay, so where's this video at? I'd like to confiscate that, please. Because that's proof of life. Jack Decor, he was standing there with Payne. Payne knew exactly about the 17-minute face cop. Well, let me see your phone. I need to get that FaceTime and find out what was said. The fundamentals of investigating did not happen here at all.
Say that again. The what?
The fundamentals of investigations.
Oh, yeah. There was no real investigation.
There was no investigating in this at all. But it's not, at the same time, we can't confirm or deny anything. We can't. You know,
Right.
And I get it. The guy that we're talking about, this new creator, took a sample of Jack Showalter voice in his interview and tried to line up with his voice with the voices that he was hearing coming out of 1122.
Right. Right. And that's what it is, in my opinion. It's an attempt to do that. Right. It doesn't mean that it's accurate, because Bob did point something else out. And again, I'm not attacking, I can't think of the channel name right now, but I'm not attacking that by any means. Much respect for what you're trying to do. But he did point out that it does line up with the other programs that are out there that can be used. DaVinci and stuff like that is the same thing. He just basically created his own version of that and put a different name on it. And I agree. What's up, Troy? Good to see you, brother. So there again, you know, I'm not going to call names or any of that. You know, Paul was angry, I think, and it upset him because he had people going at him in his chat. True Crime Forensics. That's it. That's the name of the channel. Thank you, Clyde. Appreciate you, bud. And I think, like I said, I think Paul was angry because people were saying things to him in his chat and arguing with him about things. After a while, it's going to upset anybody. Okay. Mm-hmm. You know, I get that. Because he does put, in my opinion, he puts a lot of hard work into what he does. And whether whether you agree with what his theory is or not, it's his theory. Okay,
Yeah.
that's his right to feel the way he does about it. He doesn't tell people, I know for a fact this is what happened. He doesn't do that. Okay, no, I've never heard him do that I can think of. So in turn, just like I've said, in my opinion, when the whole for example, let me say this: when we heard the audio that we heard, I believe, in my opinion, that I heard Roger Lanier say one of the victims is a CI. Some people didn't hear that, but I thought I did, not because I wanted to, because I thought I heard it. So did quite a few other people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I said, in my opinion, as we talked, who do you think, Dago, that the CI could be? And I said, I think it could possibly be Kaylee, in my opinion. Again, all my opinions, all my thoughts and my own personal feelings. And I always tell you guys, this is what I think. I want you guys to watch and listen and see what you see and come to your own conclusions, not what Dago thinks, not what Hemi thinks, I want you guys to be your own minds, to make your own mind up and think your own things. If it agrees with what if we agree on it, then that's good or bad, okay? But it doesn't have to be that way. Just like I'm sure Bob doesn't expect everybody to believe exactly what he believes. And he never shoves it down people's throat and tells you have to believe this because this is what the answer is. I don't care what the fuck anybody else says. That's not what he says. No, none of us do that, okay? Well, there are a couple people out there, but they're on the guilter side. But again, that's not my point. You guys know what I'm trying to say. So I understand his anger. If he's being attacked in his chats and other things because of his thoughts and feelings, that's not how to do this. It's not. You can tell him you disagree with him. Now, if he's blatantly putting out a piece of misinformation purposely to screw this up and throw a monkey wrench in and so on and so forth, that's a different theory or different situation. That's when there should be a conversation had. Then, like, why are you doing this? Okay, why are you purposely trying to do, if that's what it is? But I don't believe he's doing that on purpose ever. That's his. It's just his theory and his feeling, his opinion, and he works very hard to get to that point for him. Okay, and like I said before with him, I have respect for Pav. I always have, because of the work he puts in and the way he goes about this. Okay, he's not a child with it. He doesn't, like try to hold people down and make them eat his theory. Is all I'm saying. So, but I don't always agree with him. He's made some very good points that I've agreed with. We've looked at it, reviewed it, and talked about it. And as a person, I support him 100%. And as a creator for doing what he's trying to do. Okay, and I like Bob as a person. Period. But again, like I said, guys, we can only have, as any kind of a creator, take so much. Even me. Okay, even me. Everybody says I'm the nicest guy out here, right? Yeah, I also have a temper, and I also can be pushed to a certain limit where I'm going to blow up, and I have blown up. People like Nasty Disgrace piss me off, and Ashley Banfield, and that's when I blow up. Okay, or somebody that's making a statement and yelling at Lee, who's out here trying to do the same thing and find truth, and telling him he's lying to people because Brian Koberger's blood is all over the fucking sheath. That pisses me off because that's a absolutely wrong statement, and you're attacking somebody for it. No, that will piss me off. That's when the Sicilian side to me comes out, and all else is out, and I'm on it. Let's do it. Okay. That's what I'm saying. And I get why he gets angry, because he puts a lot of shit into this and a lot of time into this, more than a lot of us do. I got to say it truly and honestly, and I don't mean this offensively to any other creator, but Jay Embry and Lana probably put the most work in out here of any of us, in my opinion. This is my opinion, of course, and we all do different ways. I'm a commentary channel. Lee's a commentary channel. Lana and Pav, they're investigative channels, things like that. Okay. We all do different things, but we all try to work together. What's up, Blue Devil Maron? So Nancy Road, welcome to you. So there's a point. What about whoa, why are we saying that name in here? What are you doing here, boss? Don't be doing that today. Anyway. So I hope I'm making a good point with you guys, and I hope you understand the point that I'm making. I'm not mad. Hell, Pop could have been talking about me for all I know. And I'm not mad at him for it. Okay. I don't think he was, because I think I know who he's talking to and about. There's Cat Lady. Good to see you, dear. And Boriqua, good to see you as well. But again, we don't have to agree with everything that Pop says, okay? But at least respect what he's doing. It's all I ask from people.
I mean, it's like yesterday. He made a damn good point in his video, and I gave him props. And then today, it just went off the handrail. But it was something worth talking about, because yesterday's video, he showed a transcript from a closed hearing with a defense expert about the family tree.
Yeah.
So,
right.
In her opinion, and what she was saying, something got manipulated, and they was basically trying to make that puzzle fit. But it wouldn't. They never, when they got to the four brothers, they never tested it. And the reason why was because that DNA wouldn't have matched to the part that led up to Brian Kohlberger. And that's what his revelation was in his video yesterday, saying that the only thing they got on Kohlberger is to test DNA.
Well, okay, but we're going to talk about that too, Hemi, because I have issues with that now. Okay? And I'm sure people will be angry with me because of this. And that's okay. And I'm going to show you why I have issues with this, okay? It's kind of interesting. That's one of the topics I wanted to hit on today. Leah Larkin, I'm sure you guys know who she is. I'm not even going to explain it. I'm going to let Audrey explain it from Glitch DNA. She did a great job with this, guys. Thank you, Don. Good to see you, by the way. And Crazy, good to see you, bro. This is an interesting video she put out. So I figured, what the hell, let's just do it real quick now. And I'll show you why I have the feeling I have at this point. And again, this is my opinion that I've gathered from this. For those of you that aren't familiar, this is a somewhat newer channel, by the way. Glitch DNA is her name, is the channel name. Her name is Audrey. I would suggest, as a recommendation, that you guys do subscribe to her channel. She's very intelligent. She does some really interesting things. She's made some very interesting points too. So, and I'm glad you led right into what I was going to talk about too, Hemi, with the DNA with Brian and stuff.
I didn't want to trash Pavarotti because I really and truly look up to him. I think he's an outstanding guy. It's just sometimes we all have to our vents, so to speak. You know, we all reach our boiling point.
Yes,
you know,
everybody
I
has.
can understand that. I'm sorry, I can understand that because when we're all going through hard time, we got to let it out sometime, or somehow.
And that's all I've asked is I don't want to see anybody. I know there's people that disagree, and maybe even people that don't care for him. Okay, and that's fine. I respect that, but don't try to tear him apart or trash him here because I don't allow.
No. That was never my intentions to do that.
No, right.
I thought I'd bring that up because he done this before.
I knew you weren't gonna, and he does again, and I understand it. I do, and I won't. I agree with him in some aspects of what he said. I do. I truly do. Okay, because I've been here 4 fucking years, guys. 4 years I've been doing this. Okay, I'm not always right. I'm not. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. And 100%. But again, Pav does it respectfully. He puts work in. Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't do this as a joke. He doesn't do this to, he's definitely not doing it to make fucking money. He doesn't need this. Okay. He's doing this because he wants to know the truth. And that is why I respect the man. And he puts hard ass work into this, just like Lana does. They both do. Okay. Truly, 100%. They both do. Thank you, Hoffy. I appreciate you, brother. Number one, I appreciate that very much.
He also made a valid point. There is some people that just don't have the time to sit down, or the patience, or the knowledge to be able to look at the documents and fully understand what we're reading here.
That's absolutely true. That's why when I read documents, I may not even understand some of what I've read, which I'll admit to it. I don't mind that. I don't hide behind that. But I try to read to you guys what's in it exactly. And some of you should understand it, or I want you to be able to understand it by me reading it, because some people can't. Okay, that's absolutely true. And if I don't understand it, I try to understand it or go find a way to do it. That's all I'm saying.
So it's kind of like yesterday. When I was come across something like that, I want validation of what I'm seeing here. Because if this is true, maybe this is something that one creator is overlooked it and didn't catch it, then went back to it and go, oh damn. That's a big deal. Then you start asking them, because we have a lot of questions about our judicial system, about prosecutors and law enforcement, and holding their asses to the fire, and why they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing their due diligence. Why are we going through cutting corners and we're just throwing the innocent man that we can't prove he was there in jail and ruin his life?
Right.
And then they go, more power to the families. I'm so sorry. Bubbly Waters came out with a video today. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
Of Chapin's mother.
Stacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see the video. I had an email sent to me and asked if I saw it, but I haven't seen it.
I just wondering, are they, after seeing that, you need to watch it.
I probably will. I usually try to catch up on a little bit everything that's going around and understand it.
Because as much G has been in mainstream media and really just talk slamming Bill Thompson and the prosecutor team and all this and that and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always questioned this. Why are the other families so quiet? We hardly ever hear from them.
We've all asked that question, especially most recently.
Well, in this video, she said that there's nothing. She don't care. She don't care.
Who doesn't care? Stacy?
Yeah, she don't care.
I understand where that's at, and I've seen it before. I don't want to get anybody confused. So what we'll do then is we'll go through see what Audrey's talking about here, because this is kind of important, guys. I want you guys to see this, and then we'll review Bubbly and see what she's talking about too. Okay, that way we can kind of get a feel for everything you're talking about, and we'll discuss it all as we do and break it down. What's up, Fizz? Fizzy's in the house. So yeah, and then we'll get back to the other part of the conversation about.
Okay, because
I don't expect.
I'm sorry. I won't wait until then, and then I'm gonna finish my thought on that. But okay. My heart goes out. Just know, my heart goes out to the families.
Well, I think all of ours does in that aspect. They should. Okay, they should. We should all have compassion for what their loss has been. But there's another part to that, and I'll explain that here in a little while. Welcome, Jen 7, Dawn Caps. I understand. Love and Other Habits. Troy's in the house. Thrive Off Grid. Hoppy's in the house. Let's see. Jenny Jones, welcome, dear. Amanda 20019, good to see ya. Pine Norman, welcome. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. I don't mean to. all you guys in the house. Thank you. And thanks again, Hoppy, for that, brother. I appreciate that very much. And again, make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not yet done it. Just visiting. Good to see you again. Thank you, Miss Jenny. God bless. Very sweet. Number 2 on our goal today. Very much appreciated. All right, let's see what Miss Audrey's talking about, guys.
Not just one thing, it's a pattern. And now Pop sees it as well. And it's bigger than just this one case. Hi, everyone. You all may be clicking on this video because you just watched Pop's latest video. If you haven't, please watch Pop's video titled The Revealing Leah Larkin Says the DNA on the Sheath is Not Brian Kohberger's first. That's linked below. I've also linked Queens of Custody Off the Clock with Kristen and Sam's video titled The Truth in the Idaho 4 DNA Evidence at Glitch DNA Lab Exposes Key Findings, where all 3 of us go into this very issue. I've also written an analysis on this issue titled Glitch DNA, Drift, CODIS, and IgG, a long-form primer, Idaho v. Kohberger. All 3.
Thank you so much, Just Visiting, for that super sticker. God bless. Very generous of you.
These are linked below, and I will pin them as well. And I want to be clear. I don't solve murders. I don't do whodunit. I don't know what happened inside that house. I can only tell you what I see and don't see in the paperwork. And the most glaring would be the so-called quote-unquote match. It's blacked out in the ISP lab reports and has not been shown to the public as of today, February 6, 2026. So Q1.1 and I go way back. The very light gray trace DNA found on the strap, not the snap, of the sheath, even before I knew its name, Q1.1. The second I heard the state and mainstream media say DNA, I had a strong feeling what type of DNA Q1.1 actually is. Specifically, how they didn't talk about it. I've been following that instinct ever since. It started with sharing scholarly journals about trace DNA on Twitter to get people to slow down before they decide what Q1.1 is and its meaning in this case. Trace DNA needs caution, according to NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Many of you already know this. Some of you who are new may not, but I am formally trained to appeal systems with policy language. I'm trained to spot anomalies and formally appeal documentation about my findings. I've always maintained Q1.1 may not be Brian Kohberger's DNA. My entire channel is dedicated to slowing down and showing trace DNA is different. Even if the DNA is Kohberger's, there's no way to know how or what time Q1.1, a gray trace, arrived on a floppy strap sewed glitter cloud, because trace DNA is different. Then adding IgG into the mix is adding uncertainty to an already questionable profile. I have several videos on how octillion signals instability, not certainty in this case. Yes, Bob, I believe the likelihood ratio should be a lot lower. It should ask a different hypothesis, reference a different population, and come with caution about what trace DNA is, and that it might not be crime time DNA in any case, not just this one, and that Brian Kohberger might be on the wrong family branch, which are all things that NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, warn against with trace DNA. I've done a 4-pack live stream series. Each live is about 5 hours long on that NIST report. Forensic DNA interpretation, human factors through a systems approach. I've linked that below too. On this channel, there are posts and videos showing that a trace DNA event may not be the same event as when blood was shed during crime time. That trace DNA may not be crime time DNA at all. Trace DNA holds less weight than blood DNA. What DNA is and how it behaves in a live environment, according to NIST, the National Institutes of Standards and Technology, and what they describe as activity level propositions, the prosecutor's fallacy, the inconclusive fallacy, wrongful convictions, even after pleas. Things like, according to the state, Q1.1 could actually be an inconclusive result for Brian Kohberger. Again, we don't know because the STR and the other data for Q1.1 and Brian Kohberger are still not public as of today. More than 3 years later, the STR table is blacked out in the lab report. The quote-unquote match only shows that quote-unquote just trust us type of data, type of non-data. DNA admissibility issues in the U.S. judicial system, rules of evidence. According to the defense, Brian Kohberger could be inconclusive or even excluded because according to Bicca Barlow, Q1.1 is partial and ambiguous. There is data available that supports that statement. There is data that shows lab failures, which can be normal, but caution and confidence in Q1.1 matching Brian Kohberger should come down. Q1.1 could be a mixture. The thresholds used were not released to the public, and I don't know what the defense received in discovery. Also on this channel, I've talked about how thresholds, policy, and profiles like Q1.1 are interpretation heavy. The data isn't as straightforward as a blood stain can be. And all of this that I've talked about on my channel is all relevant to the DNA slot machine and how all of this is possible. And there is a pattern for this possibility. I have videos and posts about the LR used in this case and how it's the wrong scientific tool, asking the wrong question about the reference population, among many, many other topics, and it's bigger than just this one case, that show the pattern that Q1.1 needs caution. I've posed questions in posts and live streams and videos and asked, is trace DNA safe enough for a death penalty eligible case? I've asked the question if Idaho's pre-2025 coroner system is safe enough for a death eligible case anchored by trace DNA. There is a pattern here. For the 2.5 years I've been on social media, a 1.5 years here on YouTube, and for less than a year on Substack, I've been stubbornly and relentlessly trying to show that pattern. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's bigger than just this one case. This is all before you get to IgG and the evidence pipeline. So yes, Bob, I do believe Leah Larkin is saying Ortham had the wrong family branch and low matches. I've always maintained Ortham is downstream, which means they will inherit every issue about Q1.1 that is started from the scene to how it's collected to the Idaho State Forensics Lab. I've been seeing less and less people using Ortham to support what another lab did with Q1.1, which is good. I don't believe it's an accurate way in this specific case to compare or confirm DNA data with what ISP Lab did versus what Ortham did. But as it stands now, Ortham is downstream. They would have inherited whatever problems Q1.1 has from scene into the 2 forensic timelines I've shown in my videos where the forensic team notates right in their notes, documented as found because detectives moved furniture and beds. Detectives may have compromised some of the samples during collection. Detectives renumbered the evidence, and a state analyst had to officially correct her testimony on the record. I have a video called The Silo Effect that goes more into detail about that. And in that video, I referenced Pav's video where he demonstrates blood transfer in transitional spaces, ping pong table area, the half wall, and the stairwell. Pav demonstrates that these areas were not consistently considered part of the crime. Pav made an excellent demonstration. I'll link Pav's video below as well. My point is, when the crime scene isn't consistent in the record, the disturbance of the crime scene by detectives, the dilution of blood samples by detectives collecting techniques. These are a part of the same pattern that Q1.1 may not be crime time DNA, and Koberger is likely in the wrong family branch. Bob explains it better than I do in many aspects. I try to show the pattern in the policy language, but I also try to get it as close to common language as I can, so you can see the pattern and don't have to take my word for it. You can see the same paperwork and policy from NIST that I'm looking at for yourself. I've been delicate on how I talk about Ortham because many get caught in that trap of using Ortham's work, the work that possibly has Brian Koberger on the wrong branch, as a way.
Not to interrupt, guys, but Grateful Dan, I love your name first off, but more uncertainty and doubt. What a mess this case is. I am being turned that BK is innocent, and I never thought I would admit that. There's so many other people that are coming forward and making these same statements, guys. And I've said before, like, I will not attack people that have come to this mindset. There's people that have attacked us. Okay, those people are different. But if they're not attacking us and that's their belief until now they're seeing different things, I have to respect that, okay? As I truly do. So I understand. I truly do, Dan.
To legitimize Q1.1 in this specific case. I'm not saying that IgG doesn't work in other cases. I'm specifically talking about Q1.1 in this case. And the problems from that start before Ortham received Q1.1. And when Ortham did receive it, it inherited all of the issues that came with it. Again, Ortham is downstream. They inherited the problems with Q1.1 and also issues with activity level. So I think Pav has excellently articulated how Leah Larkin probably does believe Brian Koberger's name is on the wrong family branch. My instincts have told me that these have been issues with Q1.1 all along. It's not like I just woke up one day and thought this. No. I had a gut instinct about this pattern with Q1.1 since the state and the mainstream media said DNA 3 years ago. It's taken me a long time to slowly show what trace DNA is and what it might mean in this case. I've been showing how trace DNA works. I started with one trace DNA scholarly journal and I posted it to Twitter. I've been in the YouTube chats for about 3 years. I've been on X for about 2.5 years, on YouTube for about 1.5 years, and now on Substack for under a year. Many of you have seen me as Audrey Cakes, Audrey C's DNA Podcast, Trace DNA Lab, and now Glitch DNA Lab and Biojustice. I've stubbornly and relentlessly have shown on X, here on my YouTube channel, through videos, community posts, shorts, forensic pop music videos, and live streams. I've also branched out to Substack to write analyses of trace DNA evidence in the U.S. judicial system under Glitch DNA Lab and Biojustice Truth. Both links are below. I created the Biojustice ecosystem for analysis of the U.S. judicial system through a systems approach, just like NIST with their forensic DNA interpretation, human factors through a systems approach report. I've done a 4-pack live series. Each live is about 5 hours long on that very NIST report. And I've linked that below too. So because Q1.1 is possibly a weak profile and the issues start at the scene through collection and in the ISP forensic lab, and yes, Q1.1 may have many hallmarks of partial low template DNA, ghosting in the peaks, and more problems. And it may not be Brian Koberger's DNA. Brian Koberger could be on the wrong family branch. But I still don't know for sure because to date, the state hasn't released the DNA data showing the quote unquote match. To date, mainstream media has just taken the state's word for it. Just trust us. You know, the just trust us kind of non-data that we've been given, that it's Brian Koberger's DNA. To date, No DNA data has been released on or to show that quote unquote match. And yes, I believe Leah Larkin has said Brian Koberger is on the wrong family branch. Bickel Barlow has said this is the prosecutor's fallacy. Q1.
How many people have to say this, folks, before it becomes ingrained? Okay? How many people have to come forward and say this is not, most likely not Brian's DNA? And my question to this, they sent it to the local labs and had 2 misses on this. Then conveniently send it off to Othram, and then all of a sudden, guess what? I've never trusted that. Never, ever.
1.1 is partial and ambiguous, which means it has a lot more matches than it doesn't. And Brian Koberger's team and the system I'm reading are saying Q1.1 may not be Brian Koberger's DNA and or may not be crime time DNA. Both of these things could be true. It's not one thing, it's a pattern. Again, I'm trained to formally appeal systems. I'm neurodivergent and have special interests in trace DNA. I've been reading about trace DNA in scholarly journals for about 20 years. This special invisible DNA has captured my attention, and I am still reading about it. And I'm sharing it with all of you. I'm trained to take policy language and submit formal appeals to institutions. This is my niche. This is what I do every day, to read and teach systems and policy. What I'm seeing here in this case is a policy issue that is bigger than just this one case. So yes, Pop, I do believe you are correct, and you were very good at breaking down DNA. I think it's possible Brian Koberger is on the wrong branch. That could happen as a single event. However, there is more than this one event to support that statement. There is a pattern. I believe Leah Larkin said it, and Bickel Barlow has said Q1.1 is partial and ambiguous, and talked about the prosecutor's fallacy, in addition to the activity level proposition problem for the entire DNA record in this specific case. In addition to the silo effect on scene with the Idaho evidence pipeline not being able to produce a probative DNA record in this case, furthermore, the quality control and standard failures in the lab and other data that could support a pattern of Q1.1 being misattributed as probative in the first place. So ultimately, there are things to support Brian Koberger being on the wrong branch and Q1.1 not being his DNA. But it's not just one thing, it's a pattern. However, much of the data is scattered or hidden from public view. And the defense has said they asked for it. And it's unclear what DNA data they have seen in this case. And this is a capital case. Again, I'm formally trained to see anomalies like this in a formal system and appeal that system. And this is what I see. I believe this is what Leah Larkin, Bickel Barlow, who also referenced NIST forensic DNA interpretation, human factors through a systems approach, and now Pav sees it as well. We are very lucky to have you, Pav, to speak about DNA. I hope to see more from you on DNA, and thank you. And thank all of you for being here with me in this weird part of the internet in between law, policy, and invisible DNA. And remember, trace DNA needs caution. Trace DNA has no clock. It could have arrived during a separate event than the blood found at the crime scene in this particular case. Trace DNA can be a separate event from a blood crime time event. And it's not just Leah Larkin, Bickel Barlow, and Pav who have seen documentation that suggests Q1.1 may not be Brian Koberger's DNA. It's Matthew Nodal, Dr. Turvey, and others who have seen the data that suggests Q1.1 is not crime time DNA, regardless of who it belongs to.
Hear her clearly. Many, not just one, not just two, not just three, or not just four. Many experts have made the same statement. I said a year and a half ago, I don't believe Brian's DNA was on the sheath. Okay, me personally, I said that. Yes. And again, that's my opinion. And I also said then, if I'm wrong, then okay, I'm wrong. I don't believe I am. Welcome, True Seeker. Good to see you.
Belongs to. The entire record in this case is reflecting a silo effect. And this is not just because they are defense experts. It's because there is a pattern. I'd like to close with this. The architecture of Q1.1, the nature of trace DNA in a live environment, how Q1.1 was collected from a live environment in a pre-2025 Idaho coroner system where roles were unclear, the blood DNA record that was deprioritized in this case from a quad homicide blood scene in a death penalty eligible case, Q1.1 possibly not being crime time DNA, Brian Koberger likely being on the wrong branch, and many other elements in this case specifically are bigger than just this one case. That all of the above support a pattern of Brian Koberger likely being on the wrong branch. It's not just one thing to support that statement. It's an entire pre-2025 Idaho evidence pipeline that Q1.1 and trace DNA are different. And according to the US Supreme Court, death is different too. So if the record can't support the story shouldn't be sold as certainty. That's not doubt for doubt's sake. That's integrity. And I'll see you next time. Architecture, not guilt. I'll see you next time.
Started with a whisper on a leather sheet. Low template goes humming in the peaks. Octillion odds on a courtroom slide, but this the art cable's black.
Now, Dago, let me
Once
I'm gonna
again,
call out-
hold on real quick. I want to thank Audrey for making that video because I think a lot of us have been thinking this for a long time. Please go subscribe, follow Glitch DNA, support her, subscribe, notify her, all of it, please, and let her know that we support her in what she's doing and thank her for what she's doing because it is so helpful in so many ways. So again, go ahead, bud. Sorry.
I really have always questioned Hitler. I think we've always have.
Of course.
But
Of course.
this question is going to be a little deep.
I think they need to check the ashes of the victims to prove that they are the real victims. I mean, I think they are, Susie. I see your comments. But no, I agree. I think she nailed this. I truly do. I honestly do. 100%. And I'm very proud to know that Glitch is in our community doing what she's doing. I truly am, because we've needed stuff like this to help point things out, and it's really important, I think. But yeah, Hitler, a lot of people have had issues with him, okay? Because he avoided more things than he didn't. So
How can you not look at this and seeing and hearing in that closed hearing, and you walk away with that same mindset that this guy is guilty?
because they need him to be Hemi. This is how I see this now. They need Brian to be the one in their minds, because if Brian's not the one, this is how this is what I see from the guilters. This is why what I understand from the guilters, as hard as it is to understand them. Welcome, Sandra. Good to see you, dear. Of course, Susie. I think and feel that the guilters need it to be Brian Koberger, because if it's not Brian, there is nobody else that they put out there. And if there is nobody else, there's no closure in people's minds to who committed the crime. People can't handle that. I'm just saying, people cannot handle that. If you don't know who did this, to some people, they cannot live their life every day with having no closure to this story. Okay? There's a lot of people that can't handle that. And that is why I believe the guilters are who they are. That is why I believe that they ignore the red flags and everything else that we're seeing and hearing and all that. And they will make an excuse for it because it doesn't, they can't turn it off in their mind. They can't turn that channel. Okay? As compared to a lot of us who are open-minded more and can listen to all of the other details and see it for what it is and understand that there's somebody else out there that could be the one that committed this crime. That's not finality to them. They can't handle that. And I understand it's a psychological thing. Thank God for my wife to teach me these things. But it's a psychological thing. And I don't fault them for that. Okay, folks. What I do fault them for is attacking those of us that are able to see it that way. Okay. It's not our fault that we can see it that way and you can't. That's what I go at. Okay. That's what I don't understand. That's what bothers me. So it is what it is. You know, there's nothing we can do about that to change that other than hope that at some point, some of these people that have seen these things and said, Brian did it, Brian did it, Brian did it, Brian did it, step back from it far enough to be able to say, okay, maybe he didn't. Something's wrong here. Because that's what all of us have been doing for 3 years. Okay? And there's so many other little entities that surround this. Yes, I understand and I know. But the main focus of the problem is that and again, this is my opinion, that there's somebody sitting in prison who, in my heart of hearts, I believe did not commit this crime. Which, in effect, is a bothersome thought to me because that means there's somebody else's, multiple people, in my opinion, that are out there that did commit this horrible crime, that took the lives of these beautiful, young, innocent people, period.
It's really, oh my God, Dago, it's so wrong on so many levels because not only they're lying to us, they're also lying to the parents.
That's the hard part. And the parents, that's why we get so angry with the parents, I think, Hemi, because we're on their side, whether they want us to be or not. Okay? We want them to get the real justice they deserve as a family for losing their loved one. I don't dislike any of the parents. I don't dislike them. I may not agree with how they've handled things. Okay? And I don't know what has provoked the way they have. That's, you know, in some senses, it's probably not their fault to some aspect, okay? But I feel for them. Deep in my soul, I feel for them. I could never, ever, 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 for the love of God, imagine going through what these people have gone through. And I hope nobody ever has to, okay? I hope I never have to.
In that bubbly video, for me, in my humble opinion, and when I watched it, my first reaction was, this is a mindset. This is where they're at. I have to accept it. My heart goes out to you. But knowing what we know now, and between that, what we just watched, and the Sire, both of them was in front of Hitler.
What does that tell you?
Him not to go, okay, prosecution,
now,
you got to explain to me why I'm not going to throw this case out. I mean, this is that important to protect your livelihood?
Yep. That's the problem.
And more power to you.
Well, and I'm telling you what I'm telling you guys about the families, how I feel. I feel compassion for them deeply. Again, like I said, that doesn't mean I fully agree. I highly disagree with some of the things they've said and done. is with as much respect as I can muster for that, okay? Because I can't ever put myself, nor would I want to, or any of you in their shoes. Okay, so, and we're going to review what Bubbly put out about that. And I know what this is going to be about because I've already had this conversation about this same situation, okay? But now we've had, pointing out, I know I'm all over the place, guys, but Hemi just pointed something out. We have two experts, two very, actually, we have probably 4 to 5 different experts, but these are all highly revered people that are saying the same things. We have Cy Ray talking about the cast bullshit, that there's a problem with this, okay? And then we have these other people talking about the DNA stuff, guys. And it's all pulling away from the person that they have convicted of a crime. That's a problem. When you have more people than none pointing at something and saying this is not right, we have a problem, you guys. We have a big problem. And with that, there's a man sitting in prison that's probably most likely innocent of a crime.
I mean, if this is the way we're acting in our society, Dago, I'm sorry, but if this is the way we're acting in our society, we have a major problem.
So that's been said for years now.
Major problem.
If this would have had a real investigation done, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But here's the question now. Why did they not do a real investigation? There's a reason for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what the biggest question mark in the middle of this entire thing is why did they not provide a proper, correct, well-rounded, and well-formed investigation in this specific case? There's the question mark. The big, huge question mark.
What's even more alarming to me now is if they knowingly knew who this was that actually did this, and they just on purposely outright just set this man up.
Right.
Let that sit. Who? This is a question that I've always asked. Who is this important for you to do what we've been discussing to cover up for?
Or what? Or
Jack DeCore?
Or who and what?
Who or what? Yeah.
I don't know that it has anything to do with a student yet. Okay. I do. I know I have questions. I have questions with Jack DeCore. I have questions with Adam Lauda. I have questions with Dylan and Bethany. I have questions with all of their friends. I have questions with all of this. Okay.
I mean, this is the reason why we're still to this very day do not know. Everything is still up in the air in this case. Is I mean, with every passing day we discuss this case, we always leave with more questions than we came in. But yeah,
and I believe that's what they want us to do, Hemi, because it's never. We can't have an answer to this case. That can't happen, in my opinion. That's exactly why they do what they do with this. That's just an opinion of mine, of course, but. And yeah, like Crazy said, I don't think it has to be someone of importance either. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that that's what that means, folks. There's other things that this could play out to be the reasoning for this. Just so you guys understand. That's a thought too. So anyway, let me run that. Go ahead.
I guess to keep exposing what's really going on here.
Well, and that's the thing. This what Audrey just pointed out, what Paul was talking about, what we've all talked about, again, takes me right back to the point where I can comfortably again say, and I haven't not said this, I've been saying this for years. They arrested somebody and they built a case around him, period. That's exactly how I see this happened. They arrested Brian Christopher Koberger and they built a case around him because he's an outsider, because he's different, because he doesn't fit within the community, which all goes back to him being an outsider. That is why I believe they did what they did. They found him, they got lucky, and they built a case around Brian Christopher Koberger, in my opinion. Period. That's how I see it. And I'm very, very comfortable saying that to you guys. And guess what, folks? If somebody proves me wrong, are you leaving, Susie? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you very much, as always. But yeah, if somebody proves me wrong with it, then you know what? I'm gonna shake their hand and say thank you, because that's all I've wanted to know the whole time, is just for somebody to prove to me that's not what this is. But they can't do it. They cannot do it, and they're not gonna do it, in my opinion. Okay. That's a good question, Cat Lady. Do you think they purposely chose a criminology student? I mean, I don't know. I think that was just kind of a thing, in my opinion. It just kind of happened that way, but I think they purposely chose him because of who he is and what he is, as far as a person. You know what I mean? The type of person he is, because of certain things.
That, and they probably knew that he wasn't going to fight back.
Well, that I don't know. That's the one thing I struggle with, and there's a few other things I struggle with within this as well, guys. But this is to my true full opinion at this point, that they picked somebody to be the patsy, for lack of better terms, and they built a case around him, and here we sit. They gave him no choice but to have to plea out on this. They gave the defense team no choice but to have to plea out on this. And Brian is sitting in prison right now because he knew, as did the defense team, that the court of public opinion had already and was going to find him guilty of this crime. No matter what was going to happen, this was what the outcome was going to be. Eddie said 3 years ago, folks, this is not going to go to court. This is the way that this was mapped out from day one. This is the way it's going to be. It's going to stay this way. No matter what happens, it'll never be different unless something big blows. That's that. So here we sit. And why we've all done what we've done for the past years on this is only because we want, we can't, it can't be 1 minute.
I hate this.
Because it can't be. I just lost my train of thought. My apologies. It'll come back. But let me run this Bubbly video real quick. Again, guys, if you have not yet subscribed to Bubbly Waters, she's done some really interesting stuff. So please make sure, and let me throw her link in here for you guys as well. And again, not everything that Bubbly's put out I have fully agreed with. Okay? But again, we all do this differently. But Bubbly, I respect her to death because she's put the work in again for 3 straight years plus, trying to eliminate different situations, okay, to come down to a point where something makes sense. That's all she's doing. That's all any of us do. We just do it different ways. So again, make sure you guys subscribe to Bubbly if you have not yet done it. Hit the like button and show her a little bit of love.
Ready or not, here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Prepare to be caught. Here I come now.
You'll ever find a motive for why what happened?
I don't care.
No.
It's not something I spend my, there's a lot of people who talk about that too. And I, as the mom of one of these, kids, I don't know. I could never imagine what it would be to be in somebody's mind like that. And who knows what somebody like that thinks.
It's irrelevant, I guess, considering, if you've got the mindset to do that.
It doesn't change the outcome.
Wow. That's a pretty strong statement, guys. I know. It is. It really is. And I guess everybody sees things differently. As a parent, I would have to know. I would have to know the answer to that question. But we're all different. But then there's this. So why do you care what WSU did? Thank
See?
you very much. Thank you, SRB. That was my next statement. And that's right there is what bothers me with this. And again, nothing but compassion towards these people. But this bothers me. This bothers me. Maybe because I don't understand it. Okay. I'll just say that.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Dago. This has been tormenting me and my stress levels. Oh my Lord. Words cannot express how wrong this is on so many levels. And
Right.
hopefully for me, I'm just, my good nature of what I am as a human damn being can't even fathom this. That they're okay. This is the reason why I want going to the extremes of looking at law enforcement and looking at our judicial system and going, I know this has been going on for a very long time, and things are going on behind closed doors that public just don't know about. But they go, this was done with everybody watching. And for them to sit there
Right.
with the G's constantly in mainstream media blasting the prosecutors in Idaho, talking about we're sitting down talking with the governor to make changes, and everybody else is just sitting there going, well, we can't bring them back. This is not about bringing them back. Never was. Those kids, this is what I think about, Dago, and this is why it hurts me so bad. Only people that knows what happened and how it happened, they're all dead.
That's what a lot of people think. Who just said it? Karen Polquez, I think. Where'd it go? It bothers me that she isn't interested in the motive, but it tells me, in my opinion, that she knows the motive. She knows what really happened. Like DA says, you don't ask questions you already know the answers to. I agree with that. I do. Now, I don't know if that's the reasoning behind it, guys. But one more time. One more time.
The mom of. I don't care.
Prepare to be cut. Here I come now.
I don't care.
No.
It's not something I spend my. There's a lot of people who talk about that too, and I, as the mom of one of these, kids, I don't know. I could never imagine what it would be to be in somebody's mind like that. Who knows what somebody like that thinks?
It's irrelevant, I guess, considering, if you've got the mindset
it
to do
doesn't
that.
change the outcome. My husband and I have talked about that.
And for those of you that are asking, when she says it doesn't change the outcome, what I believe she means, in my opinion, is the fact that Ethan's still gone. Okay, that I understand. But what I couldn't live with not understanding is why somebody took my child from me. What possible reason did you or whoever you are have to take my child's life? That's what bothers me. That's how I think. That's where we're different in some ways, I guess, with people.
And what should even bother you more is knowing the real people that's involved in this or did this is still out there. Ethan didn't get justice. None of those 4 kids got justice. But I mean, if you want to go down the money angle, you want to go that route, more power to you. I'm not. Nope.
Right. Let me play some more of this.
From the very beginning, that regardless of how this thing played out, and nothing we do is going to bring Ethan back, and it doesn't matter. So you know, what would it learn if we knew the motive? I mean, he's admitted to it. He's in jail for life. You know.
Okay, so I actually found this on Facebook, and a lot of times the videos do not load very well on Facebook for some reason. I do not know why, but this one did not load. I tried it a few times and it just wouldn't load particularly good. Well, so it's the way it is. So anyway, I just found this one just really, really weird, especially when she said something about when, especially as a mom of, you know, like one of the kids. And I'm like, that's weird. I mean, the way she said it, it's going to play here and again in just a second, but I want you to listen to that part because it's just bizarre. And I don't know, it just seems here, it's really coming up right now.
You'll ever find a motive for why what happened?
I don't care.
No.
It's not something I spend my, there's a lot of people who talk about that too. And I, you know, as the mom of one of these, you know, kids, I don't know. I could never imagine what it would be to be in somebody's mind like that. And who knows what somebody like that thinks.
It's irrelevant, I guess, considering, yeah, if you've got the mindset to do
it doesn't
it.
change the outcome. My husband and I have talked about that from the very beginning, that you know, regardless of how this thing played out, nothing we do is going to bring Ethan back. And it doesn't matter. So.
And I have to say this now, with all due respect. If that is her statement, then the WSU lawsuit shouldn't matter either. Okay? This isn't my opinion, of course, but I'm just saying. Welcome, Tomboy. Thanks for joining us, dear.
Hey, it's hard for me to text and drive, and I'm over here listening to her cussing up one side and down another.
I understand. Why are you cussing?
Because I want to know what parent in the world would not be walking across earth to find out the truth about what happened to my child.
Yes, ma'am. I fully agree with you.
That's 100%, Tomboy. Wow. I can say that's all I can say. Wow.
I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact. I don't understand as a parent, okay? Once again, all due respect to Stacey Chapin and every family member that has had to deal with this. Every parent. How can anybody... Granted, I agree with one thing. It will not change the outcome. Ethan is still gone, okay? Why, though? Why did Ethan have to be gone? That would not separate from my mind ever.
Exactly.
Until I had that answer. Ever.
I would already know that my child is gone, but I would want to know the truth.
Yes.
And if you have any inkling in your mind, wait a minute, maybe this isn't the truth.
And I'd
be walking on water to find out why.
Right. And here, let me say this real quick, too, because what Lucy said is kind of what I'm saying. I believe we also know that this woman got information way earlier than anybody because of Othram. Okay. I think she knows. This is my opinion, folks. I'm not saying it's a fact. I think she may already know the truth. Because I can only imagine that that's the only way anybody could make that kind of a statement if you know the truth. That's me. Okay? That's me. Go ahead, you two. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I wonder if there's a reason why, I don't know, maybe she knows that the DNA wasn't Brian's and that, you know, Othram is like, here, if you keep it quiet, we'll pay you lots of money.
So you're willing to sacrifice somebody else's life, even though you've already known that your son lost his life? That's a problem.
What about the other 5 parents?
They go, let's go back to the body cam right quick. We don't know that Bethany Funk is sitting right behind that damn light pole, separating herself from the group. Later on, we're seeing Ethan's brother show up. I ain't never said anything, but I get it. Nobody, everybody grieves differently, but to receive uh, notice that your brother is in that house laying dead, wouldn't you think that somebody would tear down that damn house to get to the brother? And what I seen on that body cam was somebody who is calm, cool, and relaxed. With that being said, when she first got the news, did she ever? I wonder if she grilled those kids to find out what actually happened because he was in a fraternity. Something to think about. I wonder.
Right.
And I don't like to point fingers because we discussed this so many times that we don't know exactly what happened. But I will say this: in that audio of who we was talking about earlier, there was a statement that audio picked up and said, "I thought we was brothers," or "I thought we was bros."
Right. And I do
Again,
think
I'm not saying that he was involved. I'm not saying anything like that. But what I'm saying is,
that understand that could mean anything, like fraternity bros like me and Mikey are brothers, that's my brother type thing. It could mean a lot of things, but
right. But
this
far as a demeanor,
statement that Lucy put up here real quick, she knew what it was and what it wasn't by the time she did that first interview 48 hours after being notified. I honest and truly feel that that's true. I think she did. And I think she got different information than Gonsalves did. More accurate. I'll just put it that way. Okay, that's always been my thought. Sorry, go ahead.
I just think maybe I'm just expecting too much here. But for anybody in chat or anybody up here, if you had a brother and you was in that predicament, what would you do?
You'd have to lock me down if somebody went after one of my siblings. Period.
This cat just stood there.
Agreed.
It's not what I was expecting, Dago. And I'm not saying anything.
I'm not surprised by this by any means. I've already
I'm
heard.
not. But I know because being my uncle had 5 kids, and I know how him and his wife are by their 5 kids. So one of them happens to one, and it all happens to each other, and they grill. They will grill their kids for answers.
Right. And
Wow.
that's a good question, Mike.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
I got you. Onward, a little bit more here.
What would it learn if we knew the motive? I mean, he's admitted to it. He's in jail for life.
I think you'll ever find a motive for why what happened.
I don't care.
No.
It does not. It's not something I spend my. There's a lot of people who talk about that too.
Okay, seriously, what was that? Does she get less and less?
There it is, right there. I don't think she cares because she knows what really happened and is playing naive. Word of advice to her: just because you act like you don't know what happened doesn't make it go away. Instead, it haunts you for life and also haunts those around you. Chain reactions happen. Bingo. Thank you, Bubbly.
Like she feels less and less interested in kids alone, like her kid. Like I can't not freaking sound like Kenon. I'm just this interview right here, just everything she said and the way her demeanor is and everything else. Maybe she's just getting ticked off that people just keep asking her questions about Ethan. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But she seems so cold, and I don't know. It's so weird as this case goes on. The more I feel like there's like these homes, these family units that these kids were in were not. Yeah, they weren't good. I mean, there's something going on, and this can't just be just some pissed off frats and sororities. Yeah, they could be really pissed off, and yeah, some things could have happened, but something else happened that was just something that none of us could even get. I mean, I can't even say it. Like, I'm just so tongue-tied whenever I think about it, because I can't even fathom, not even close, what they went through. Not even close. And the more I listen to that Ridge Road one that I put up just recently, I think it might be the second part in it. It is so, you can hear this girl, and it sounds like Xana, and she's keeps calling for Ethan really quietly, and just, I mean, it's just, oh my God, it's just so sad. And it's weird because in the very beginning of the case, I had heard that, okay, here's what I heard. I heard that Quinn had brought rugs to the party, and that a girl had OD'd, and Ethan was really mad about it. And then also that Bethany had brought rugs to the party in order to give them some to Ethan, just to keep him at bay, not to do anything to him, just to keep him away from whatever they were planning for the girls. Now, I don't know any of the details. This is just what was going around, what I heard in the very beginning. So, I mean, it's not like, I mean, I don't know either way. I mean, it's, we don't know anything, right? But in the beginning, it's like the things that come out are always, usually, I don't know, a little more true than, the rest of it, because stories build on stories. And, just like the painting one, I heard about that really early on. I mean, very early. And there's a couple other things I heard too that really just have stuck with me. But the whole thing with them trying to keep Ethan out of the way, apparently what happened was he started feeling sick, and so Xana was taking him back to the house. And whoever was it that was said that something about you never come to our frat, or you never do something. Anyway, it was said that they had gone to a place that it was like a southerny looking like design on a home, right? And that had like a front porch, like it looked southern in a way. I think it had said something about pillars or something like that. And that's where they had gone, and they were sitting on the porch, and then that's about all I heard about that part. But I think that's really interesting because that ridge home up there could kind of look kind of southerny, like yeah, like it could be in the South type thing, which is really weird. And another thing, you guys, that house is a Delta house. It's owned by the fraternities, by the alumni, and when one of the places, the businesses that it's affiliated with, and usually it can either be a business of theirs or it can be just one that they had done business with, something like that. But typically, it's one of their own businesses, is from what I've found on these reports, and it is the Masonic Lodge, Paradise Masonic Lodge in Moscow. Yeah. So I'll show you some pictures that I found from there when I went to look at it, because I wanted to see what it looked like. And lo and behold, there's some guys in there, a couple guys in there that I recognize. And it was really weird seeing them, because there's all these old guys in there, right? And all of a sudden, there's this young guy standing there. And I'm thinking, that guy looks familiar. I mean, he looked really familiar. So I scrolled a little bit more to, let me see. Yeah, it was a little bit further back because I kept thinking, if this is who I think it is, his brother would be in here before he's in here, I would think. So as I scrolled back, sure enough, there he was. Yep, they don't go anywhere without each other. It seems, anyway, from what I've seen in the photographs. Now, they're also with the Legislate, U of I, EcoShield, Altcoin, hence their last name being Alt. And they're the ones that I talk about that they have their own little coin type thing. And I think they use their businesses where like he's got one that's luxury cars and it's called Alt Luxury Cars. So when you put Alt in front of it, it makes me feel like people recognize each other, recognize who that, they're people, right? Alt perfumes, Alt handbags, Alt shoes, things like that. So there's that. Now, when I said that there's a lot of people that were under these in that EcoShield that are up in this case, that are on the witness list and everything else, yeah, they're there in that witness list. I feel like I have a lisp, like I'm like talking weird today. I mean, I'm tired, not that tired though, but I feel like I'm just talking like I'm like, I don't know why, it's weird. Oh, I know why. Oh my gosh, you guys, I don't know how, I don't know what I did, but yesterday morning when I woke up, I had the way, I don't know if I was having a bad dream, I don't know what it was, but when I woke up, I was biting my bottom lip in between my teeth. I mean, literally had my teeth embedded into my freaking lip. Wasn't bleeding or anything like that, but it was in there. And when I realized as I was waking up what was going on, because it hurt and it felt weird. And that's why I'm talking like this. I forgot all about that. It still hurts, but it's just, I just put those things out of my head. But anyway, so as I'm waking up, I'm just like, oh my God, what have I done? And it's like on my left side, and it's kind of like if you're biting your cheek or something like that, but it was my lip, my bottom lip. And so I slowly just released my teeth from my lip. And it was like this indent in the bottom. There's still an indent in there. I mean, I really had a good hold on it. So I must have had some gnarly dreams. You know what's weird too is that, and why I don't know this, why it's like this, I have no idea. But I never had in the beginning. I mean, I would cry and feel bad about things and stuff like that. But I never had any really scary, creepy dreams or anything like that about this case until recently. And I am getting a lot. And they're really, okay, so I used to remember all my dreams. I used to remember a lot of them. And if I thought about it, I'd wake up and I'd write my dreams down, because I always I used to like to decipher the dreams and stuff like that when I was younger. Not so much anymore. I don't really care, but with this, it's really weird because I don't really remember what I was dreaming about, but I remember the feeling of it. And then of course, what I'm doing when I wake up, like biting my lip, things like that, that also makes me think, what's going on, right? So I think I'm gonna try to pay attention more to what I'm dreaming. If I can remember it, I'll write it down when I wake up. Because it's really odd that I'm doing it now, and I never did it before. I mean, and it's odd I didn't do it before, because I dream a lot. And I just kind of stopped dreaming. It was weird for, gosh, good year or so there. I don't know. Maybe you don't dream in cars. I don't know. not enough room. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why can't really move around, and so maybe I have to bite my lip, like things like that. Don't move it around. You're going to screw yourself up. Just bite down on your lip. I don't know. Okay, well, there's a few more pictures I'm going to put here. And I hope that you guys Well, not a picture. It's actually another interview type thing. It's a pretty quick one though. I'll double check it first. You might not even hear this part after the fact, so you won't even know. I even said this part right here, but I will go look and see if it's something I want to put in there. I know I saved it, but I don't know if I listened to the whole thing before I saved it. So we'll get it up there, maybe. Okay, love you guys. Oh, and I want to know what you think about the way she talks about that stuff now. To me, it's just, I don't know. She just feels cold as hell to me. Cold. But you know what? She always has. And I thought that from the very beginning. That's why I got so much crap from one of the first videos I made when they did that interview. And I was just like, when I looked at it, I almost couldn't even, it's hard for me. Okay, put it this way. It's hard for me to watch her. It's hard for me to watch an interview with her because I don't like, she's all hoity-toity to me. And hoity-toity people, I just don't deal with hoity-toity people. I don't think it's necessary for anybody to be hoity-toity. And she also seems, oh God, I know this is terrible. She also seems mean. Like, I feel like she's mean for some reason. Like whenever she's talking about her kids and how we love them, we do this and we, do that and do this. I don't ever feel any loving emotion coming from what she's saying. Like, it's almost like she's just saying it and there's nothing behind her words. Now, maybe she's just protecting herself at this point. That could very well be. Seriously, could very well be. And I get that. But you'd think it would be she'd be a little over that by now. Like, it wouldn't be, I know it's got to hurt forever. I get it, but, well, I don't get it. I've never been there like that, but I'm sure, I can get some of it, right? So anyway, just curious. I'm just very curious about it. Just what you guys think. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get that other video up. Okay, love you. Bye. Well, I waited so long to post this video that I forgot what video I was talking about. So I just put up a few more pictures. Remember this guy? This is Jack Schuster, the football player that Kim said was at the house that was with those guys that night. This is him in here. Yep.
This is the one that tried to use Kim's house as a alibi and was not there. This is also the guy that was watching Rory over the fence at the corner club and alerted them that he was there. This guy, there's issues with. I'll just put it that way.
Everybody forgets about Jackass, the other Jackass, the other white meat. And this is, look at Dave Barry. He's having a Halloween party. E and X. Yeah. Dave Barry's been working out. Taking some Eco Shield workout juice or something. Literally, that's what he's taking. It's something that they do. I don't know what it's called. Now, if these guys don't look like AR, I don't know what. This is Jack Schuster.
This is Jack Schuster right here.
The football player that Kim said was at the house that was with those guys that night. This is him in here. Yep. Everybody forgets about Jackass, the other Jackass, the other white meat. And this is, look at Dave Barry. He's having a Halloween party. E and X. Yeah. Dave Barry's been working out. Taking some Eco Shield workout juice or something. Literally, that's what he's taking. It's something that they do. I don't know what it's called. Now, if these guys don't look like AR, I don't know what does. When I first saw this picture, I was like, holy crap. These guys look like they could fit right in there. They look like they just got out of prison without the tattoos. Yeah. It's weird. Weird. Yeah. No, good old Bloach. Look at this one. This is November 3rd, I think. Yep, November 3rd. What's he thinking about? Contemplating. I wonder if that's the back of the house of 1119. That might be, actually. I bet you that's what that is. He's in the backyard or is he on the roof? Maybe I can't tell what he's sitting on. Because I'm blind right now. Not really. Molly Gray, another one she clicked like on. It's great to have a. It's a great day to have a day. Yeah, you're having a day, all right. What you guys waiting for? What you guys looking at? What you looking at, Willis? They're looking over yonder. They're waiting for their delivery, in my opinion. Yep. For sure. Bird's eye view. All they have to do is look to their left, and Green probably looking out his window too. Funny. I don't know. I guess I can get a tan up there. Looks like Gus is getting a tan over there. This one's got Reed in it. And yes, yep. It's their bathroom gym picture. The non-gym picture. Yeah. It's so weird, these pictures that they took that night. Oh, I have the sleepies now. It's getting time for me to go to beddy bye. See if I can get this to upload. Sometimes it takes a while. Look at this Batman outfit.
For nearly a week.
Alrighty then. Good video, Bubbly. Pretty interesting. Any thoughts, guys?
Everybody grieves differently. So,
go ahead, bud. Sorry.
I mean, everybody's going to act differently. I mean, some people going to be in shock. Some people are just going to be, masking anger. I think she's angry. I get that.
I mean, I get it too, but I just can't accept the. I could never just accept, no motive on it. Why did my child's life have to get taken? Is what my question would be.
Right.
What did they do to that?
And why is law enforcement and prosecutors lying to me? That's
too, right. Why are not only that, but like why? That'd be my biggest issue is why is everybody lying to me about what happened with my child?
Right. And you can't be that. You can't tell me that you're that closed off that you don't know what the G's are doing.
Right.
And my thing too is when they had that closed hearing with Hitler, and the G's was going off about the gagged and all this, and wasn't all that transcripts pretty much redacted?
Say that again. What
was that in that hearing? Was the transcripts from that hearing, was that all redacted?
The hearing itself, I think, was. I don't know if there's any transcripts out there for it.
I mean, that would have been. I would like to know what the Chapin said or had to say in that hearing. I just can't see somebody just willing to just basically roll over the ground and accept what is happening is happening, and not have to have any questions about it. I can't accept that. I'm sorry. I really can't.
I agree.
This is not my child, so what do I know, right? But
I agree. Any thoughts, Tomboy?
I would definitely not be rolling over and being minus some Vaseline. No way in hell.
Agreed. I agree. Now, to go along with what we were talking about here, let me show you guys something here. Oh, where's it at?
But Tomboy, does it sound like to you that's what she's doing? It's just kind of like accepting everything it is. He's done pleaded guilty, and then life goes on. We'll never get him back, knowing or
it's almost like they're all believing what Santa has told them.
They are. That's not almost to me. That's 100% what, and they're okay with that.
And it's like nobody has picked up a document to read any of.
And I think you're right. And I think before we get to this next video, because this all goes in with what we're talking about today. I don't understand that. I would have to know. Why are you know that people are calling out the prosecutor, you know that people have called out the judge, you know that people are questioning whether or not Brian did this. Why is that okay with you? It wouldn't be okay with you.
But it's not just like
says, I get that everybody says it's because, you know, he admitted to it and all this stuff, and I think to myself, no, he signed a piece of paper, dude. Come on.
After 3 years of propagandized bullshit coming from media, and if you can't see that, then you need to put on a pair of glasses to not see that happened that way. Okay.
Yeah, you need to take off your rose-colored glasses and view the world clearly.
Agreed.
I'm just saying, I can't even seem to accept the fact that what I was saying earlier about the G's, that the Chapmans are just sitting there going, "Hey, bro, look, we need to have a chat because you're raising up a hell of a damn storm about this prosecutor, and I'd like to know what the hell's going on." It seems to me that didn't happen. That's the reason why I'm thinking, well, are they just rolling over in the ground and just saying, okay, we set this. I mean, go ahead and put it down my throat while you're at it. You know, I'm sorry to say it like that, but it is what it is at this point. That's the way I'm looking at it. I can't. If one family members are raising up these issues, then why haven't all the parents come together as one to talk about those issues and go up there as a united front against the prosecutor and hold his daggone feet to the fire? That clearly did not happen.
Because I think if the truth were to come out, 2 of the parents would be severely ostracized.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of seems to me that G's are kind of worried about losing that lawsuit. And that's the reason why they went on in and was, saying their piece. I'm just saying.
Well, I still think, part of me still thinks that Othram and, the Light Bright people have either just bold-faced lied or severely manipulated stuff
Exactly.
to get, like for example, the Chapins on their side or whatever. I still believe that.
That's agreeable for sure. For sure. Now, Kara is Xana's mother. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to pull this video.
Yeah, we never heard from her or anybody from Xana since all this.
She's doing.
Yeah,
Kara,
we've heard from Kara after
yeah.
all this because she had.
Yes, Kara is Xana's mom. Hold on, you guys. Keep going. I'm just trying to pull this video. Give me a minute.
Well, I got my answer. I mean, I've always wondered, and I got my answer. So it is what it is. Yeah.
All right, now going back to what we were talking about a little bit ago, because I think this is very important, guys. Okay, very important. So I'm going to show you another version of it, and this again is from Pavarotti. Okay, because I think he makes, this is where the point came from that Audrey was talking about from Glitch. Okay. Please hear this. This is, in my opinion, one of the most detrimental things in this case at this point.
It set this up.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Listen to Pavarotti.
Through diligence and efforts and patience, we have now identified a completely different car than one that Brian Koberger owned, that the law enforcement claimed was his, leaving out that morning
I'll be back.
2 different cameras because it has identifiable fog lights. Brian Koberger's car didn't have fog lights. So it was a lie, and they knew that was a lie when they arrested Brian Koberger. We go on to find that the next vehicle that they claim was Koberger's at Floyd Cannabis Shop has fog lamps as well. It was the same car that they had previously said was his that wasn't. So we eliminated the first leg of the state's case on the car. Then we go on to find out that the vehicle that goes from Indian Hills over into the King Road neighborhood and passes the Sunset Mart can't be the same vehicle because of timing. So we've essentially eliminated 2/3 of the state's case on the car. It's all lies, all made up, or misinterpretation of evidence, whatever you want to call it. But then we get to the other piece that really nailed him, because every mainstream Mo Run documentary commentary for, almost 3 years would hold up a K-bar knife sheath in their commentary and show everybody the button snap of the sheath and say that Brian Koberger's DNA was found there. They said it over and over and over, probably 20 million times, until the entire population that knew anything about the case was brainwashed into thinking it was Brian Koberger's DNA on the button snap of the knife sheath. And it wasn't until I started putting this video together that I realized that it was never the defense's assertion that it was Brian Koberger's DNA on the button snap of the knife sheath or anywhere in this case. At one point, it seemed like the defense was conceding that it was his DNA, but they were going to go the route of how did that DNA get there? But that's not what they were doing. And until I put this video together, I did not understand their argument in that closed hearing where we just got the transcripts, and it finally hit me like a ton of bricks. It was never
hold on.
Brian Koberger's DNA on the knife sheath, as I'm going to show you in this video. I am floored. And what I would like to do is send a request out to my gal over there at Glitch DNA, because she has a much better understanding of what I'm about to discuss than I do for sure, and most anybody out there, because that's what she does. And I'm requesting that you watch this entire video, Glitch, and let me know if I'm spot on, or if I'm spot off, or if I'm close. Please give me your feedback on this, because the way that I've come to understand this situation is really got me just man, I can't, they got this kid in prison in J Block, surrounded by, real people, surrounded around real people. My goodness. We're going to get into it. This is going to be a lot of information. This is going to be kind of technical, and I implore you to just take it slow, watch this video, absorb what I'm trying to explain. And in the end, I think you're going to have your stomach drop just the way that mine did this morning. Let's roll. Okay, so just to make sure that we're all clear on this, I believe that the sheath could not have been planted after the fact because of the matching spatter to the area where the sheath was found. However,
on the bottom side of the sheath. It has nothing to do with the crime by the way the sheath is positioned. And the touch DNA that they got off of the little leather strap on the bottom of the sheath, I don't believe has anything to do with this crime. And here's what I'm trying to help people understand, and it took me a long time to understand this as well. But this sheath appears to be brand new, and we're going to test it. But if the sheath is brand new or likely nearly new, and law enforcement felt the same way, that's why they did so many search warrants.
Thank you for that, Jim, and I appreciate that very much. Number 3 towards our goal, I think, or 4. Thank you, and God bless. Very generous and very much appreciated. The defense needs Barry Scheck. Well, hey, good point. Good point.
Trying to figure out who had just purchased a K-bar and sheath, then I believe the likely source of that DNA that was from skin cells on that strap would have been from the quality control at the factory. And here's why I say that. Because when you take the entire world of where this knife sheath could have come from, anybody could have come from anywhere and brought that sheath to Little Idaho up there. But they just so happen to do genetic genealogy, and it leads them to a lineage in Pennsylvania that is only about 150 miles from the factory in Olean, where quality control would have last handled that knife and sheath. The odds of that have to be 5.67 octillion to 1. Wouldn't you agree? That they just happened to trace it to the lineage of where the factory is within 150 miles? Good grief. I mean, what are the odds of that? So here's what I've come to understand, and it's the most difficult thing for people to understand in this entire case. And that is how investigative genetic genealogy actually works. You see, when they start off with a crime scene profile, they take the DNA from the sheath, they create a DNA profile, and then the way it's supposed to work is they're supposed to investigate a case, find a suspect organically through boots on the ground investigating, get probable cause, and obtain that suspect's DNA sample, either through a buccal swab or through some type of discarded item, create a DNA profile from that either buccal swab or discarded item, and then compare it to the sample from the crime scene. And by doing this, they can formulate a likelihood ratio. And since it was an organic investigation, they can compare that likelihood ratio to the entire population. And you can, a lot of things factor into the likelihood ratio, but by doing it that way in an organic investigation, they could say, well, it's 5.67 octillion to 1 that this profile matches the suspect. And that doesn't mean it's a 100% match to the suspect. That just means the likelihood ratio is very high that it's a match to the suspect. However, when you supersede this process and you go another route, you go investigative genetic genealogy, and you use this crime scene profile to develop a family tree that likely contains the DNA markers of this profile, and you narrow it down to, say, a few hundred people in a genealogical tree. And then out of that tree, you do boots on the ground work to try to figure out if any of the people in that tree would have been in the area and match other aspects of the crime. And then you come to a suspect. In this case, they came to Brian Koberger. Then they obtain either his buccal swab or a discarded item, which we know in this case it was his father's DNA from a cotton swab or a Q-tip. And then they compare it to the original crime scene sample. And then they get probable cause for arrest. They arrest Kohberger, get his buccal swab, and then compare it to the crime scene sample. Here's what should have happened. Because they took the entire population and narrowed it down to about, several hundred people, and then got his buccal swab and compared it to the DNA, then the likelihood ratio should have been hundreds to one that Kohberger was the likely suspect matching that DNA. But instead, what they did was ignore this entire process once they got his buccal swab, pretended like they found him organically, and then formulated a likelihood ratio based on the entire population instead of the focused family tree. It's not a match to Kohberger. It is a likely match to somebody in this family tree. And the fact that the factory for K-Bar is located in an area where you would expect to find people in this family lineage, I think before you could ever arrest Brian Kohberger, you would need to absolutely exclude everybody at the Olean factory that could have handled that knife sheath first. And they didn't do that.
Now, okay, I love that he puts this in such layman's terms. What this man is saying here, which is what a lot of people probably never thought of, because this is so far off the branches of the tree that it should be, okay, that it's possible that somebody that is within this family could have worked at the factory and touched this damn thing. In turn, there is where the familial, per se, quote unquote, DNA could have come from on this knife sheath. If you guys aren't understanding this, okay? So, that in itself is a bomb, I'm sorry. But it should have been looked at. I don't know how I never thought of it. But it's very interesting. Very interesting.
To their detriment. And I hope that makes sense, because I'm going to go through how the defense was setting this up the entire time. And then I'm going to show you where the defense actually points out that the DNA found at the crime scene does not match Brian Kohberger. And it took me almost over a year of reading the same thing over and over again before I understood really what it was saying. But when we go all the way back to 2023 and we read the declaration of Ann C. Taylor in support of her third motion to compel, it really gives us some insight in this entire situation. She goes on to say that counsel has learned through consultation with experts and sources referenced below that the use of genetic genealogy databases does not necessarily lead to a single individual as a potential suspect, and that reports of these searches often reference multiple individuals for further investigation and DNA testing. In fact, the state acknowledges such in its motion for protective order when it acknowledges something hundreds of relatives. And then it's got page 5 in the motion for protection order. So what Ann Taylor and team wanted was this list of these hundreds of relatives. Now, I'm wondering if they wanted that list not to try to match it to a perp, but maybe to try to exclude people from the factory. But the state filed for a motion for a protective order to not give the defense the relatives that they disclosed through IGG in this case. This is how it started. But when you talk about they came up with hundreds of relatives.
And if you guys remember and think back, okay, They made a big deal about keeping those people secret. If you remember the documents, we were going through them. They were sealing everything left and right when it come to these protecting these people per se. Okay, that is what I think. Now that I look back on that, holy shit! Why I couldn't understand who are these people. First off, and second off, why are they protecting them or trying to protect them so much? Well, because they didn't want the defense looking into this and possibly finding the ability to exclude Brian from this.
And the bigger question is for Hitler to sit here through that hearing, what he's about to cover up, and not put prosecutors' feet to the fire, so to speak, it says everything to me.
Well, I'm just saying what we're talking about right here is what I'm talking about. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No problem.
Relatives that should have been used when calculating the final likelihood ratio, and it was totally ignored. A private lab is completely different in nature than the testing done by forensic labs. Genetic genealogy labs do not generate a profile in the same way that forensic labs do, and there cannot be a direct comparison between the data obtained in this case by the Idaho State Forensic Crime Lab and the private lab. The tests used by private labs are either SNP or whole genome sequencing. These tests are similar to methods used by commercial services like 23andMe and Ancestry. Based upon information from experts in the field, I've learned that once a genetic genealogy profile is created and the testing by the private lab is completed, the profile is uploaded to a database that contains similar data from other individuals.
So remember this too, okay? Two different times they locally tried to get DNA off this to match somebody. It didn't work. Okay, well, at least it didn't match Brian. They send it off to Othram. The FBI gets a hold of this. Guys, think about this, okay? You can make this match anybody if you go far enough. We're all related somehow or another in some aspect to some extreme, okay? And think about what they're doing. It's insane. And that's exactly, in my opinion, what they did. They found some crazy, outlandish way to try and say, look, it does. It matches somehow. It's dumb, but that's what they did. It's not a direct match by any means. Okay? Period. Just so they could get this to come close to matching to this man. Like I said earlier, they arrested Brian Koberger and they built a fucking case around him. This is the weakest link in this entire thing. The weakest, which again is why the FBI said, don't use our work. You can't use this. You don't use this. And why they were so comfortable not even using this if they were going to. Think about it. Okay? Period.
Once the genetic genealogy profile is uploaded, the profile is compared within that database and relatives are identified. It is my understanding that once possible relatives have been identified, their identities are used to construct a family tree to identify possible suspects using public records and, in some instances, contacting individuals for further family information. This process leads to a pool of individuals rather than one specific individual. The possibility of other relatives who might be similar to Mr. Koberger is extremely important to the defense in this case. The processes used in this method of identification may be extremely important to Mr. Koberger's defense. The timing and steps utilized are extremely important to Mr. Koberger's case investigation and defense. And she goes on to talk about some of the information that she's found But what I want to point out is right here. I'm aware of specific news reports in this case regarding Mr. Koberger's DNA as published by the New York Times on June 11, 2023, that FBI personnel worked with the profile that Othram had produced, spending days building out a family tree that began with distant relatives. The New York Times sources have more information than the state is.
The word that I want you all to keep in your mind, not the back, the front, and very clearly repeat this to yourself anytime this gets talked about forward from here forward. Distant relatives. Distant, meaning not Uncle Sam, not Aunt Terry, not mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle. No, distant relatives, folks. Way distant. Remember that. That's very important to me and to this.
Disclosed to the defense. This New York Times article generated intense media coverage and interest, the scope of which is explained in the True Scope report attached. So at that point, the New York Times had more discovery than the state had provided to the defense on IGG. They were just trying to sniff it out at that point, which is absolutely ridiculous. But here's where it gets key. In addition, Mr. Koberger's defense team has discussed the use of statistics in this type of case with experts who have informed me that the manner of identifying Mr. Koberger via this type of search may have significant impacts on the statistical analysis of the CODIS profile generated by the Idaho State Police Lab. So what she's saying right there is the use of investigative genetic genealogy to focus in on a family tree has significant impacts to the statistics, the likelihood ratio that the state was using, and they were going to try to use at trial to suggest that the DNA on the sheath matched Brian Koberger. Once you do this, this statistic should go away.
Well, let me throw one more thing at you. This may sound dumb, okay? But we all know the stupid ass statement that Brett Payne made when he said that they didn't put all that other DNA into CODIS and this and that because they were worried about knocking things out that they already had in there. We all know that's bullshit. Let me throw this at you real quick. Do you think it's possible that other DNA wasn't tested? Because hence the ability that they had to test it this way, and they had to test it out so far out with distant relatives that it would have matched to somebody else if they'd have ran it possibly. And that person was not Brian, and that could not happen. This is just a little something to think about. Thank you, perspective. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm not saying it's a fact, because it's not. It's a thought. But think about it for a minute. We couldn't have somebody's DNA accidentally matching this due to another distant relative they may have that could have possibly. Okay, you see what I'm saying? If it makes, I hope I'm making sense to you guys, is all I'm saying. Just think about what I'm saying for a minute.
And the statistics should look more like this. And that's what the defense has been saying since the beginning. And it's a very difficult thing to understand. But when we go to the declaration of Bicca Barlow, it starts to become a little bit more understandable. In this motion, the government misstates the statistical rarity of the comparison to the DNA from the sheath. The STR profile is at least 5.37 octillion times more likely to be seen if defendant is the source than if an unrelated individual randomly selected from the general population is the source. This report statistic for this comparison is a likelihood ratio similar to an RMP, which compares two competing hypotheses. The government statement is extremely misleading and is essentially the prosecutor's fallacy. The fallacy is to say that the probability is also the probability that the DNA at the crime scene came from someone other than the defendant. It does not say that the odds that the suspect contributed the evidence are 1,000 to 1. National Research Council. So the real odds that Bryan Kohberger is the contributor to the DNA at the crime scene is 1,000 to 1 against it. It does not say the odds that the suspect contributed the evidence are 1,000 to 1 against it. She goes on to say, I've spoken with a number of experts in the field who have expressed the opinion that an IgG search can impact the statistical rarity of a profile in manner similar to cold hit search, meaning the statistic that is generated by an analysis of an IgG search could yield a relevant and admissible statistic. In the case of a cold hit, in the case of a cold hit case, even a high RMP can yield a low DMP statistic. For instance, the RMP of 1 in 1 million can yield a DMP of 1 in 3, which means that while the profile is rare, the likelihood of getting a coincidental match during the search of the database and selecting a person who matches but is not the perpetrator is high. When this evidence is excluded, jurors wonder why and how the defendant was identified. In one case where the evidence of the search and the DMP was excluded, jurors inquired of the trial court how he had been identified, failing to allow the defense access to the ability to investigate and potentially present evidence about the tip, in quotation marks, that the government intends to exclude could lead to a jury being actively misled by the strength of the government's evidence as it relates to the DNA on the sheath. They knew way back then that the government, the state, was going to try to go at this as a generic tip and exclude the IgG. Why they agreed to actually doing that in the end, I have no idea. But when you look at the real ramifications of what the IgG does, it can yield a DMP of 1 in 3, which means that while the profile is rare, the likelihood of getting a coincidental match during the search of the database and selecting a person who matches but is not the perpetrator is high. Now, I'm going to show you where they actually say that Bryan Kohberger doesn't match the DNA on the knife sheath. It's taken me a long time to understand this testimony by Leah Larkin. We never got to hear it outright, but we got the transcript. It was a closed hearing. And when Ann Taylor began questioning Miss Larkin, she says, all right, let's talk about this case. Were you brought on to help us in this case? Yes, I was brought on to help you interpret and understand what was done in terms of the genetic genealogy for this case. What did you look at to do that? Well, it's been a bit of a struggle getting all the material I would like to look at. So I have seen basically photos of a giant kind of poster scroll of a family tree that I believe the FBI built at Ancestry. I've seen pictures of a whiteboard in which they sort of like hand wrote on the whiteboard a descendant tree. So basically looking at some ancestors and mapping out the descendant lines leading to certain DNA matches. In the course of your work to try to help us understand what happened here, did you learn that first Othram worked on the case and then the FBI took over? Yes. So Othram, I believe they were contracted based on the invoice I've seen. They were contracted to do the lab work. So to actually generate an S&P profile, upload it to GED Match Pro and Family Tree DNA, presumably through the approved portals. And then I believe they were contracted to do the genetic genealogy, but they were told to stop work, I believe, on December 10th. And I've seen the preliminary report they wrote. All right. Have you had a chance to look at what happened after December 10th? So after December 10th, there were some email communications between the one I think was most interesting to me, had the names redacted and it contained screenshots. So just to backtrack a little bit, the Othram report reported 2 main DNA matches. One of them shared 70.7 centimorgans of DNA. The other one, I think, was 60. And Othram's report specifically said those are low matches. Othram figured out how those 2 people were related to one another. I believe they were third cousins to one another. And based on how much DNA they shared with the crime scene profile, they thought that the individual who contributed the crime scene profile was descended from the second great grandparent of those 2 matches, a man named Blank and his wife Blank, I believe were their names, and they were born in the blank. So here's how genetic genealogy works. So they Othram identified 2 individuals with DNA that were, as Leah Larkin says, they were low. They were low matches of DNA. But they found 2 people with low matches, but they did share enough DNA for them to take those 2 people that were third cousins with each other, take the crime scene profile. So they've got 3 points of data, and then they worked their way back up based on the markers in the DNA all the way up to what she says is a second great grandparent of those 2 matches. So they worked their way all the way up to.
Okay, now to bring this back to layman's terms, okay? A second great grandparent. Think about that for a minute. The rationale that somebody could be like, okay, let me say this for, okay, hot girl bummer, 520. I'm going to use you as an example. I'm sorry. But the probability that you and I are related somewhere out there through somebody else and somebody else, if that makes sense to you, it's kind of actually a high possibility, okay? Only because in some aspect, first off, understand something that almost all DNA is basically kind of the same in some aspect, okay? There's that. Don't ask me what I'm saying because it's hard to explain that, but it is. There's little things that make it match to other people. But again, like he's saying, very, very low matches, okay? In essence, folks, in layman's terms, what they did here was they made this work. They made this match. In some form or another, they made this match. Whether it's to third cousins, folks, think about that. Third cousins to third cousins of third cousins is the point, okay? There's going to be a match somewhere out here, somewhere in the world between me and somebody else. Me and Hemi could be related slightly somewhere, but it happens. It happens, okay? With some little tiny branch of a tree, there could be something. They made this work. If you guys know what I mean, I'm trying to put it in layman's terms. They made this work. They made it match him, period. Bingo. Thank you, Rick Allen. Yes. Bingo. They manufactured this to work. Perfect. Best way to put it, Rick. Thank you. Period, guys. They were going to make this happen one way or another, and here it is. Again, layman's terms, because some of this shit's so hard to understand, but you got to hear it. They manufactured this to fit. That's the best way I could think of to put it, Rick Allen. Thank you for that. And that is why we have Brian Koberger right now.
Grandparent, great-grandparent, second great-grandparent. And then once they identify a second great-grandparent and his wife, then they build out a family tree back down. That's how genealogy works. They start down here, work their way back up to a common ancestor, and then take all of the people in that common ancestor's lineage and work their way down to present day, and then develop a list of people that are potentially contributors to the crime scene profile. Hopefully that's not clear as mud. But it gets really interesting now. So they match it to two of the great-grandparents, second great-grandparents. And then she goes on to say, when Othram quit work, this is Ann Taylor asking a question. Huge question right here, and I've always missed it. When Othram quit work, were they following a family tree that they could have led and come to Brian Koberger? Very weird way she said it. When Othram quit work, were they following a family tree that could have led to Brian Koberger? Is basically what she's saying. And then she answers yes.
Thank you, Meg.
So, in the family tree, as
Thank you, Gemini. I feel like there had to be communication between the two schools, between law enforcement teachers, criminology students, etc., equaling BK. There was. Just in case you guys don't know, thank you for the super chat, Gemini. Very much appreciated. Let me look at something real fast. No. Where's it at? That's number 3, I think it is. Or did I? Yeah, number 3 on our goal. Anyway, there was. So what that means is, what did I do, you guys? I'm sorry. Hold on here. Let me pull this back up. Where the hell did it go? I just had it up there. Son of a... Every time I mess with something. Anyway, there was a teacher from, I think, DeSales that had recommended Brian go to WSU and sent a recommendation over to WSU, so on and so forth. If that's what you're saying, that there truly was. So thank you for that. All right, back to where the hell I was now. I'm so sorry, you guys. I didn't mean to do that. Damn it, Jim. Here we go.
that they could have led
1 minute. Okay.
and come to Brian Koberger. Very weird way she said it. When Othram quit work, were they following a family tree that could have led to Brian Koberger? Is basically.
Holy shit, we have a bingo right here. Thank you, Yvonne. My daughter found out that her childhood friend who lived down the street was related to us because her grandfather was my grandmother's brother. I didn't even know she had a brother until she saw pics. This is what I'm saying. And there's many other instances where this happens. Okay? Many. My wife's family, for instance, okay? On her mother's side, for instance, her grandmother's grandmother, their last name is Barra, Barra. Guess whose last name is Barra? Bonnie and Clyde Barra. They're related to Clyde Barra on that side. Now, the other side of her mother's family, the last name is James, which I told my wife I'm of all people to be married to. I'm married to you're all outlaws. Her family's married. They're related to Jesse James and Jesse and Frank James on that side. And on the other side, they're related to Clyde Barra from Bonnie and Clyde. Okay. The point I'm trying to make to you is it's so far down the line that they come to find out when they did their stuff that these are their relatives. Okay, so people can be related, and you don't have to try very hard. Like I said, or like Rick Allen said again, I'm going to use that now. Going forward, this was manufactured to fit to Brian Koberger. Thinking, like I said earlier, they arrested somebody and built the fucking case around him, folks. Period. And they made it happen. Here we sit.
What she's saying. And then she answers yes. So, in the family tree, as they're going down, they're looking at different branches from these great-grandparents in the family tree.
Sorry, I keep interrupting this. One more thing you got to understand. This doesn't really even have to be that corrupted for this to be what it is either. Understand that. This isn't that difficult to do. It's not that corrupted. It's something that can, now we know for a fact, can be very easily done. Okay? So understand that too. Sorry.
Tree's going to probably branch off after they have children into several different branches. She asked Leah Larkin, was the branch that Othram was following, let's say it's this branch, could it have led to Brian Koberger?
No, Brian has appeal options, Lisa. He's got quite a few, actually, from my understanding. There's never no appeal. Whether you waive it or not, there's always an option.
Koberger. And Leah Larkin says, yes, the branch that Othram was following at that time could have led to Brian Koberger. So that's huge right there. But watch this. I never got this before. So based on my initial review of what they did, the crime scene profile was most likely descended from blank and blank, probably these same two blank and blanks up here, or perhaps one of their siblings. It's hard to tell with DNA because it's not all third cousins share exactly the same amount of DNA. Some share more, some share less. It's just kind of a statistics game you play. That couple had ever how many children, and so there conceivably could have been hundreds of descendants of this couple. I haven't seen the full tree. I've just seen they had blank children. Othram chose one of those children and had tracked down, I believe, grandchildren. And there were 4 brothers. They recommended testing one of those brothers to get more DNA, to get a closer handle on where their crime scene profile might fit into that family.
So here's your 4 brothers out of Pennsylvania that we've all heard, okay? So that everybody gets this. I love the way he's explaining this right now. It's how it needs to be understood so that we will understand how crooked. Okay, I said just a few minutes ago, it's not that corrupt, meaning it's not that hard to do, but it is crooked as shit to do what they did, okay? Just to formulate the DNA to match to this man, period.
Here's where you've got to really pay close attention. I'm going to read this again, all right?
Please do.
So, remember what they said. When Othram quit work, were they following a family tree that could have led and come to Brian Koberger? And she says yes. And she goes on to say that Othram chose one of those children and had tracked down, I believe, grandchildren, and there were 4 brothers. So the family tree that she chose, that Othram chose, remember, we've got these folks and they have all those children. Well, they say that Othram chose a line and went down that line, and it could have led to BK. And what does she also say? That line led to 4 brothers. So the line that Othram was following could have led to BK. It also led to 4 brothers. But what we're going to learn here in a minute is the family tree, the line that the FBI followed that would have led to the crime scene profile was not the same line that Othram was following that would have led to Brian. She's actually going to say the line that they were following that led to the crime scene profile was not the line that led to Brian. And I've missed it the entire time. She goes on to say, knowing that Othram finished their work on December 10th, and then the FBI took over, and we've heard that by December 19th, 9 days later, they made an identification. Is that significant to you? Yeah. Why? Because Othram's matches were, as in their own words in their report, those matches were low. They were recommending testing these 4 brothers to get more information. If you went out and if you approached those men, and even if one of them said, yes, you can test my DNA, the testing itself would have taken some time. Getting a kit to a person, getting the spit, sending it into the lab, having it analyzed. And it wouldn't have led to the crime scene profile because it was the wrong family branch. And it would not have led to the crime scene profile because it was the wrong family branch. So what she's saying is, these brothers, these 4 brothers, if you went out and you got their DNA and you entered it into the system, it would not have led them to the crime scene profile because that's the wrong family branch. The 4 brothers are not in the right family branch, which means Leah Larkin the entire time was saying the family branch that Othram was working would have led to Brian Kohberger. That family branch included the 4 brothers. That is not the crime scene profile branch. And I just now got it after all this time reading this 1,000 times. It was never Brian Kohberger's DNA on the knife sheath, and they knew it. Okay, so this is going to be a simple.
And that is why they mind fucked everybody. I didn't get this either until I watched this. That is why they mind fucked everybody into believing this, because nobody fucking understands it. Nor do they. And they did it that way, in my opinion, on purpose, because they knew that if they went direct, it was not going to fucking match, you guys. If they went direct on it, it was not going to fucking match. In turn, they had to take the most roundabout, outside, left road to the right fork in the road, to the backwards uphill, down through the tunnel valley to get to that point to where it would even come close to it, because they knew it fucking wouldn't. And this is what I respect about Pav, okay? And you all have to do that as well. You need to understand the work this man puts in. Whether we agree with everything he says, this shit here, I mean, it flipped the fucking switch in my head that had been turned off for 3 years, guys. Period.
And it wasn't until I saw this part of the video that what he was just saying previously clicked.
Right.
And I went, oh my God.
Bingo. This is why he took what he took so personal, in my opinion. I would.
And also, I can't help to think, Dago, there was some samples that was over there by Xana's room and going downstairs that was not even tested.
There was a lot that wasn't tested. There was shit on the sheet that wasn't tested because they knew. Okay, that's why, like I said earlier, that's why they didn't test it. They had to make this match Brian fucking Kohberger. Period.
Simplified version of this. All right, so you've got second great grandparents up here. Now, if they had, let's just say, 2 children, right? Now, if they had 10 children, then you would have to take this diagram and spread it out and make 10 of these versus 2 of them. And then if they had more children, it would be even bigger and even bigger and even bigger. But this is going to be simplified. Let's say that they had 2 children and you are Othram Labs. So you've got 2 children from these 2. This is your second great grandparents, your known distant relative that you start with. So you have 2 different genealogical lines that you can follow. And let's say Othram followed this one, and it went to their children. And then they had 3 children. And then of those 3 children, 2 of them had 1 child, and the other one had 4 children. And then of them, they had 1 and 3 children. So Othram's following this line, and it leads to 4 brothers. Now, the defense expert said, Ann Taylor asked her, was Othram following the line that could have led to Brian Kohberger? And she said, yes, that line would have led to Brian Kohberger. That is the line with the 4 brothers. But then she went on to say, even if...
Now pay close attention to this part right here.
If the FBI got one of these brothers to give their DNA, it wouldn't have helped them because that was not the line of the crime scene profile. So if they got one of their DNAs, then it wouldn't have helped them get closer to the suspect. It would have helped them get further away, and it would have told them they were on the wrong genealogical tree, and they needed to be on the other one that actually led to the person who had the suspect profile. The defense this entire time has been saying it's not Brian Kohberger's DNA on the sheath, and I've missed it the entire time.
We all did, Bob. Don't feel bad.
Led to Kohberger, but that wasn't the tree of the crime scene profile. It was a whole other family tree. But because they all share the same alleles, the same frequency of alleles in this close family tree, when you do the match to the profile, it's not a match. It's just a high likelihood ratio because you didn't focus in on the family tree that you already narrowed it down to. You compared it to the population. Good grief. The whole 4 brothers thing and the tree leading could have led to Brian Kohberger. That's always been confusing, I think, to a lot of people out there.
And make sure you clarify his words. That's why he just corrected himself. The tree could have led to Brian Kohberger, not the tree leading to Brian Kohberger. It could have led to him. Remember that too.
There, because I know I've looked at all the conversations around it, and I don't know why it even hit me when I read it this morning, and I went, oh my God. She was saying that they were Othram. The work Othram was doing was a family tree that would have led to Kohberger, but that wasn't the family tree that would have led to the crime scene profile.
Once again, thank you, Rick Allen. They manufactured this to fucking fit. Okay? They found a road to take that was going to pull right into the garage of where they needed it to be and ran with it because they had to make it match him. That's all this is. And they fucked with the words in this through the whole thing. The verbiage, that's why everybody's so fucking confused with this, you guys, and always has been. They did not tell the reality of the truth about what they were doing. And they didn't have to because it was so close to the truth. They knew they could get away with it. So therefore, here we sit. And again, if you guys don't go over and hit the like button for this video for him, please tell him I sent you and thank him for the work that he did. Same with Glitch DNA. Okay, please, both channels, and then mods, please make sure to drop. I think I've dropped Povs in here a couple times now, but I'll do it again. Please drop Audrey's DNA in here again. Please go subscribe, notify, hit the like button, and tell them thank you for the work they do. Because again, you guys, we would not have the answers we need in this case if it weren't for some of the work that these creators put out, guys. I am so very, very grateful for them. I respect them. And again, I don't always agree with everything Paul says, but I respect him as the person he is. I respect him as an investigator in his case because that's what he's done. Okay? And I respect the passion he has because I have the same passion. Just like Lana. Okay? I'm telling you. Some of the people that come out here, they do this because they're doing it just to get people to come to their channel, to get clicks and blinks and all that other bullshit, okay? I do not. That's not what it is, folks. We need answers. We want answers. We deserve answers. That's the same thing that Bob is chasing, that Lana's chasing, that I'm chasing, and that multiple other creators are chasing is the truth behind this. And why there is no truth being put out like right up front. Okay? Period. So please make sure you subscribe to these amazing creators. Thank them for the work they do and tell them to keep pushing forward with it, because if we didn't have a lot of the stuff they do, we wouldn't understand it, guys. Like I said, it was like flipping a light switch in my head the first time I watched this, and I went, what? Oh my God. Now I get it. And it makes perfect sense. It does make you smarter, hot girl.
Now you understand why I was reacting the way I was reacting yesterday. Because I was like, holy shit. Holy shit.
I understood it. Yeah, the last video he put out, he was heated because he was angry, because he does put in real hardcore work on this, and then he gets attacked by people in his chats and stuff, which is nonsense. You don't have to agree with him, but you don't need to go after his character or him as a person, because I think
no. And that's never was my intention in the first place.
Not you. I'm saying
it bothered me because I know how passionate he is, because I'm the same way. I even stated earlier, I can't even, my mind can't go there on how these families is not questioning this. I mean, it's something.
Well,
it's so obvious.
When he answered that question, she said, I don't want to. I don't care. There's the problem right there.
Exactly. That's what I was wanting. That was the point I was trying to get across. The families don't care. I just don't get this. This is another reason why I think the G's, and we've talked about this too, and I'll reiterate this. They're nervous, y'all. They're so nervous.
What do they have to be nervous about, though? That's the thing. And I think we can all agree that it's the lawsuit. And that, to me, if you're that nervous about this lawsuit, that takes me back to the fact that it looks to be a money grab. I'm sorry.
If Brian Kohlberger defense team, and I think G was pointing at this, why Ed Taylor is still getting paid to defend Brian Kohlberger.
That's what makes them nervous, because if there's a grand possibility that they're going to find something that's going to point to the, maybe like this, it's going to point to the fact that Brian is innocent, and it's going to screw the entire thing up for them.
And they also know they got an appellate attorney on his defense team in Massaw, so she will take care of it.
Right.
If there was an appeal.
I agree with that. But again, guys, listen, I understand not everybody agrees with Pavarotti, and that's what I've been saying this. I get that. And like I said, I saw the video he put out. He was angry. I get all that. Maybe that's not the way to do things, but when you blow up, sometimes you don't. You react before you think about things. And I'm not saying he did that either. That's his business. This is his right to do what he does with his channel. And I'm not saying I agree with that kind of thing, okay? But this kind of stuff, when he does this investigative work here and that kind of stuff, that means a lot to me. That says a lot to me. That proves who he is to me, okay? And I've always respected him for the work that he puts in. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you guys have to like him. I'm not forcing it down your throat. You don't have to if you don't want to, okay? I'm just telling you, this is what we need to see, okay? Mm-hmm. These and understand, and that's why I try to explain things in layman's terms the best way I can, because some of these words and some of the stuff that's said and some of the going around the corner for this and doing that and diving under here and climbing that mountain to get to this and this tree branch and that tree branch and all this shit's coming out of my ass stuff. I get it. It's so hard to understand. It is. But we have to understand it to know and to support what we believe, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I try the best I can to put it in layman's terms for you guys. Because I'm not saying you guys are dumb by any means. Please don't take it that way, because I don't understand most of this. It took me fucking 3.5 years to get to this point, guys. It takes time and it takes understanding. There's got to be ways to be able to make this make sense. Like I've been screaming this for years. Make it make sense, folks, because it doesn't. It never has.
He's got 2 attorneys that could be for appellate. So,
yeah, Becca does it, and Liza Mastiff. They're both appellate attorneys, certified, I believe.
I'm just saying, I'm ready for them to. All right, Brian, let's get the show on the road.
Right. Here's Karmic. Good to see you, sis. Yeah, right. Respect to Bob and Hart. I respect them both very highly. You guys know I love Lana. I have very high respect for Jules. Of course, Lee, I have to with him. Many creators out here I have nothing but absolute respect for. Whether they respect me or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. They don't have to, okay? But I respect them because of the work they put in, the things that they do to get to this point. There's many people out, Miss Potts, I have nothing but love and respect for her. Very high level of it as well. Because of the things they do. Many of my moderators, Tomboy, of course, Miss Lucy, Meg, SRB, they point things out to me that I don't always understand. And it takes a village, folks. Remember that. It takes a village. Okay?
And big thank you to you, Dago, for taking the time to go over this with me, because yesterday I was on pins and needles. I couldn't wait to get this out there because this is big. And it's just, I hate to reiterate this, but for Hippler to sit in that hearing and listening to this, why didn't he not question it or even consider it?
He wasn't. Here's my opinion. I'm going to answer you. Because he wasn't supposed to. It wasn't in the blueprint. If that makes any sense, that's how I see it now. He was not supposed to question this. He was not supposed to challenge this. It wasn't part of the blueprint for this case. And I'm telling you, I know that sounds ridiculous to some people, and that's fine. That's how I see it. He didn't give 2 shits about this. Brian was guilty from the moment that they said his name. They arrested somebody and they created a case around him. Thank you, Michelle, very much.
No, here's a question to our lawyer friends. Would this be enough on Hippler to get his ass off that damn bench?
I mean, it should be, because he didn't do what a judge is supposed to do. Thank you for that, Karmic. Real quick, this is all a lot of work. At the end of the day, we all do this from a place in our hearts, and that's a fact. We are all here for the same reason. Most of us are. I agree with you. The OG ones, all you listed, all deserve respect, community, not war. Amen. Like, guys, we can't fight each other. We're never going to get answers if we go against each other head to head to head. It's just not. I don't do that. You guys know that. We all need to be working together to come to the same conclusion, and that's how I see this. I do. So thank you, Karmic, and I appreciate you very much, dear. I cannot wait for us to get together. No, I think that he should be. I think Judge Hippler needs to be looked into. Okay, at least for this case, I think they need to go back into and look at what he did or didn't do with this case, because he let too many things roll under the door. He allowed too many things to pass by. He didn't challenge things as he should. And he definitely did not play the part of a judge in this case, which is a judge's part in a situation like this is to protect the rights of the defendant and ensure that that person gets a fair trial. He did the exact opposite of that. He played the part of a prosecutor, folks. Okay? That's what he did. There was never going to be a fair trial for Brian Kohberger. I don't even believe at this point there was ever going to be a trial for Brian Kohberger. And I said this a year and a half ago, folks. That is not Brian Kohberger's DNA on that sheath. I have meant that since. People have argued with me. That's dumb. That makes no sense. Dago, you're stupid. But okay, fuck you. Fine. I'll be stupid. I'll be dumb. I don't care. Here we go. It is what it is. I don't care what people think of me. I don't. Because I care what happens with this case. Because I want to see those 4 victims get the justice that they deserve as much as I want to see their families get it, whether they care that I think that or not. Or they believe it, because I know they don't. I beg them to look at the things that we look at. I beg them to see the things that we see. And I beg them to realize that we want justice for their loss. Period. Because that's all that it is.
Much respect to the.
I'm sorry.
I said it earlier. Much respect to the families. My heart goes out to you. I just you question the right. You have questions, the right questions, right? But to say you have accepted, he pleaded. Thus he is guilty. But that's a lie, and I'm sorry to say it, but that's a lie. I've said this time and time again, and I'm going to beat this drum until something happens and changes. When you have a plea deal, this is the reason why a plea deal should never be a part of this at all. In capital cases like this, we should be holding our law enforcement and our prosecutors to the fire to prove their case. We never want to prosecute the wrong people at all, period. And you lying when you say, well, he confessed. No, he did not. As part of a plea deal, he has to say he's guilty for the crime. And here lately, we've been beating this drum hard because time and time again, we're hearing from the families that he pleaded guilty and that he admitted that he did it. No, he did not. No, he did not. As part of the plea deal, he has to admit guilt to get that done. He has to silent. He has never spoken out or anything. And Bill Thompson can say till he's blue in the face that he had him in a darkened room and he confessed to him. Is it documented? No. You had to have some form of recording or something to prove that.
Well, I am gonna say this again. I have a gut feeling there's something coming. I'm not going to tell you what I think it is. I'm not going to tell you where I think it's coming from. I'm not going to tell you what realm of this case that I think it belongs to. There's something big coming. I think they know it as well as I feel like I do. And I feel like in the next 3 months, something's going to blow off the top of this. Okay. Just, you can quote me on it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I have a very strong gut feeling about this.
I've been feeling that way too, Dago. I'm with you. I know I've said in the past, it's just out of my frustrations because it's like begging to be done. This needs to be brought out and wide open, and this has to be exposed for what it is. And all that's involved in this should lose their damn jobs, if not doing time themselves. This is beyond crazy. Insane.
Right. And I have to agree with PTEB. And I said this a little bit ago, guys, and this is the point I was trying to make. She said, I think it's easier for the family to have somebody behind bars, even if it's the wrong man. And I agree with you that it has to be, okay? Because if it's not Brian Koberger, then it's nobody. And that's why I've been telling you guys, the guilters, they can't accept it. And some of the family members, they won't accept it because there has to be somebody behind bars paying for this, or they can't deal with it. They can't accept it. And that's what the problem is. Unfortunately, it's the wrong person that's being sacrificed for this, in my opinion.
And here's the downside of that. Let's just say, for example,
the whole thing is a downside.
Downside to that is tomorrow they can go and Brian Koberger is free.
That's what I'm saying, because of the way this was done. If there's some proof that comes out tomorrow per se, and it proves Brian's innocent, there's nobody, and these people, they don't have that semi-existent closure. That it's not true closure, because you'll never have that in this. But they lose everything at that point, and that's what I feel horrible about. Yep. Because there's killers out there right now that committed this crime, that are walking free, enjoying their lives. A man was sacrificed for that to happen and to give some closure to these families, and that's not the way to do it. Period. So we'll get back to it, of course, as always. Yeah. And I really appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you, Hemi, for joining me, as well as Tomboy for jumping up here. But I don't want to end. I want to end with something else, guys. I'm going to give you something. I've been following the Nancy Guthrie thing as well. Savannah Guthrie's mother that went missing. It's pretty wild as well. So I'm gonna throw this up to end with everything. And that's a great question. Who are they covering for? That's the answer that everybody wants. Okay, that's a big deal. That's what we need to know. Let me throw this up here real quick, guys.
Thank you, Mallory. Breaking news first here on the 19 for you tonight. We have late new information on what police are calling the abduction of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today show anchor Savannah Guthrie. The sheriff says they believe she was kidnapped.
Oh, my God. Hold on a minute. It gave me the wrong damn link. I hate when this shit happens. 1 second. Damn it. 1 minute. Where the hell is it now? Just 1 minute.
I wish it was kind of like one of those deals, Pamela, where we're sitting around and we're just watching videos, or we're looking through some kind of docs, and everything stops and goes, "Hey, here he is, right here."
Here we go. I found it. Sorry, you guys. I grabbed the wrong one because I had too many of them here. Welcome, Sylvia. Good to see you. Oh, thank you, Tomboy, if this is the same one. All right, well, I'll run both of them. I'll just run this one, too.
All right, folks, we have a breaking news update in the ongoing search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. That's the mother of NBC's Savannah Guthrie. The family posting a video just moments ago speaking directly to the kidnappers, with Savannah Guthrie saying, quote, "They will pay a ransom." Let's go to News Nation's Brian Enton live in Tucson outside Nancy's home. Brian, this video posting just within the last few minutes.
Yeah, Savannah Guthrie posting this video to her Instagram account just within the last 15 minutes or so. She's sitting there with her sister and brother, similar to what we saw in the first video. But this time, as you said, she's addressing the kidnapper and saying that they will pay. Listen to this new video.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
So a short video there, Alex, but let me read it to you again, what she said. She said, "We received your message and we understand." Now, I don't know if she's referring to the new message that came in yesterday, to the local TV station here in Tucson, or if there's now another message that has come through that we just don't know about. But she said, "We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay," which this is now the first time that we've heard the family say flat out that they will pay a ransom. A lot of questions I still have. I mean, has there already been more communications directly between whoever's been writing these letters and the Guthrie family, or is this sort of a last-ditch effort to open the lines of communication and there's been no communication? We don't know the answers to that, but there's obviously something that prompted Savannah Guthrie to create this new video. And you can see once again, like the others, at one point it looks like she's looking down to read what she's saying, and that goes back to the fact that the FBI is very much involved in these messages that she's been creating. We've learned they help craft the messages. I mean, it's very deliberate in terms of the words that she chooses. But again, this is the first time that we've heard her or her brother or anyone say that they will actually pay a ransom. Alex?
Right, and by my count, I think it's the third video that either Savannah or Savannah's family have released on Savannah's Instagram account. This one, you know, heartbreaking to see her looking directly at the camera, essentially speaking to the people that they believe have her mother in their possession. Brian, you know, you mentioned some of the confusion that we have about which note Savannah is possibly talking about. We received your message and we want to comply. Can you just remind our viewers a little bit about how that's unfolded, right? The ransom notes, or in essence, the note that has been passed on to various news stations to kind of get people caught up and know where we are right now.
Yeah, so there's two notes that we know about. The first one came towards the beginning of the week and went to 2 local TV stations here in Tucson and also to TMZ. And that is the note that made reference to some what the FBI called specific facts about the circumstances in the house. One of those things had to do with a floodlight on the outside. The other had to do with the Apple iWatch on the inside. And whatever was said in that note led the FBI to believe that it could possibly be credible. Whatever they were saying led them to believe that they may have actually abducted Nancy and been inside the house. So that was the first note. Then there was the second note that arrived that from what we know of, only went to one local TV station, KOLD in Tucson. And that is the one that came from a different IP address from the first note, but at the same time used the same encryption software, right. We're told. And while we don't know the specifics of that note, we know that there was something in it that connected it back to the first note.
And what's interesting, Brian, what's also unusual is that it's pretty much been clear that if these ransom notes are legitimate, that they don't include any sort of corresponding instructions for the Guthrie family to get in touch with them, which I think is why we're seeing the Guthrie family and Savannah literally posting these on her own Instagram accounts saying, look, we're open to paying.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
So it looks like they're going to pay. I hope and pray, fingers crossed, that Nancy's okay. I feel for these people. I do. I have my own questions about this. There's something weird about this thing. It's just off to me. It's very odd. So, and I'm not going to go there today with this, but we'll see what happens with this. Something's strange. I'll just say that. And I hope that Nancy Guthrie is okay. I hope she's, happy, healthy, maybe scared, but healthy. And that they'll pay this and that she'll be released and they'll be celebrating with her very soon, hopefully. And it's over. But there's something very odd. And here's the thing is if that all goes down and plays out that way, you guys, in my opinion, give some time. Something weird's going to come out behind this, I think. I'm just saying. That's my opinion on it. So that's going to do it for today, you guys. I appreciate you guys joining us as always. I love you guys 100%. Again, happy birthday to the True Crime Cafe, all of the meatballs, all of the Blue Crew, my amazing videographer, my amazing executive producer. All of you, thank you for getting me and this channel to where we are today. All of the people in the community, you guys are all amazing. I appreciate you all very, very much. I hope you guys got something out of this show today, because I know I sure as hell did. And I'm grateful for all of you guys. Thank you, Hemi and Tomboy, for joining us up here today, as always. Make sure you guys tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'll be joining, as always, the Devil's Advocates for Crimes After Dark, along with Lee, 11, Robin, JJ, and, of course, the lovely Miss Logan from Bronx Tales True Crime. Thank you guys for that. Thank you for all the well wishes. Mods, if you're not busy, please jump into the voice with me real quick, because I got to talk about just a couple little things. And other than that, guys, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change a thing. You guys are truly the beautiful people. Happy birthday to us again. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to create.